Only a small field, as we've been saying, but gee, it's an intriguing race. Prince of Penzance has been a little easy on course, just out.
And Will's still going as favourite here. It's $2.90 out to $3.20, so it has eased just slightly there from punters. Number 2, Howard Be Thy Name, has been some strong...
And racing now. Starters caught them in a pretty even line. Howard Be Thy Name in the blue colours not showing a lot of early speed. And a Signer's up there early with Dandy Gent coming over from deep out. The yellow cap, Big Memory for Craig Williams settling down third, followed by just ridden a nice patient race. It's his first handicap start since he won the Melbourne Cup. He's a length away now. A Sign is starting to quicken up the tempo as they race down the side. Led Dandy Gent, Big Memory, Howard Be Thy Name, Pemberley, and still last Prince of Penzance. 5 only covered them. Katie looking fairly comfortable on the lead here on A Sign from Dandy Gent. He's peeled out 3 wide now on Howard Be Thy Name and gave him a squeeze lane. Big Memory has to wait. He looks to have something to give back on the inside, and Prince of Penzance has peeled round the outside of Pemberley, but still A Sign the one to run down into the straight. Big Memory trying for a run. He's pushed Dandy Gent out of the way. He's in the clear now, and then Howard Be Thy Name. A Sign down to the 200. Big Memory is starting to loom as a little bit of a danger. A Sign in front of Big Memory. Pemberley starting to stoke up strongly on the outside of them. Still A Sign and Big Memory in a battle with Pemberley. A Sign sticks his head out and he's got in. A Sign wins it narrowly from Big Memory and Pemberley. Small field but a great finish. Prince of Penzance worked home for 4th. Howard Be Thy Name a bit flat in the run home, and Dandy Gent weakened last.
The favourite gets home A Sign, giving Lloyd Williams a 5th win in the Herbert's Power Stakes. A beautiful front-running ride there by Caitlin Mallion for trainer Robert Hickmont.
Big smile on his face as this horse, who's not in the Caulfield Cup, gets a little closer to gaining a start in the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, great for Kate Mallion too. That was her biggest success, I think, Group 2. She's a terrific young rider. She's terrific on pace horses, just rating them to the furlong. And she did that yesterday. She looked like she was going to be swamped, but then A Sign fought back. The tip from Lloyd Williams pre-race was that A Sign had really found that length we wanted him to find. He carried that Almandan form, so he was the worthy favourite, BZ, in the race. It looked a bit on for young and old at this point of the race, but he really stuck to his guns.
Yeah, and the stable have really started to hit their straps in these staying features. Not the top level ones just yet, but like you've seen A Sign win, Almandan win 2 races previous to this, being the Bart Cummings and the Start prior. So these horses are really starting to build, as the stable would expect, heading towards the Spring Carnival features. The runner-up there, Big Memory, is now eligible to potentially run in the Caulfield Cup next Saturday. And speaking with Tony McAvoy this morning, he wasn't overly keen on backing up into the Caulfield Cup. His preference was potentially to head to the Moonee Valley Cup, but the connections, I believe, would potentially like to run. So
that might influence.
It'd be hard to go past Jamaica, isn't it? And Real Love was very impressive.
Why is this not the race it should be? Is it because they haven't got a penalty exemption into the Melbourne Cup? Are they scaring away significant horses?
Well, United States is $11 there, and the market's not going to run. So market's going to change.
I'm not quite sure.
Caulfield Cup winners. This is a worry for our stayers. It looks a bit. We're all international orientated now, and we're probably going to look to that angle. Other than if we got a classy horse like Hartnell. But look, he whacked away in front there, and he got the job done. It would have been a free ticket at the Caulfield Cup, but he's not nominated for it. Big Memory just doesn't run out the distance, I don't think. The story of the race is probably Prince of Penzance, who's pulled up no good, and he's finished for the spring at least, maybe a little bit longer.
At racing.com park. Well, we're counting down until the mighty Winx takes her place in the Caulfield Stakes, and it's caused a lot of controversy. Only 3 runners. There's been a lot of talk about what will happen to the prize money that is
$1.25, the short price favourite. Next best in the market, the top weight there, and there is some money around for it. Black Heart Beat there at $4.40.
We get to see her line up in the Ladbrokes Caulfield Stakes here, and remarkably, Gator, she's on the drift. $1.20 out to $1.22, and money is coming for Blackheart Bart. $4.80 into 4. To see the champion of Australasia, number 3, Winx, to be ridden by Hugh Bowman, trained by Chris Waller. She's chasing her 12th win in a row. Her career prize money, $7.1 million from 21 starts with 15 wins. Gator.
3 runners are ready. What lies ahead? The intrigue unfolds. The gates are back. and they jump virtually as one. Blackheart Bart edging to the early lead, and a very moderate tempo being set in the early stages. Winx up there second, about a length and a quarter away, and he or she, as predicted, back at the tail about a length away. Now Blackheart Bart, as he makes his way down the side, he has increased the tempo a little bit more. He leads by a couple, maybe a little bit more than a couple to Winx, but Bowman sitting pretty confidently on the great mare, and he or she about a length and a half to two further back. So gradually he is starting to wind the pace up on Blackheart Bart. He leads by two, but comfortably Winx goes with him, and he or she now just starting to be niggled at to try and stay with them as they come to the 600. Bowman sitting supremely confident on the favourite as he idles up on the outside. Blackheart Bart by about a half to Winx on the outside. Now, is she going to be given a race or not? They swing wide, the pair of them, and they've left he or she behind, but around the turn, Blackheart Bart straightened up about a half in front of Winx. Now Bowman's just asking her to go, and she sidles up at the 200 metres. Blackheart Bart trying to really go with her, but Winx now, with about 150 to go, drew a neck in front. Blackheart Bart won't go away, but Winx is too good, far too good. She scared her rivals away, and she blew them away when they got there by 2 lengths. Second to Blackheart Bart, he or she third. There's the unbroken dozen at 8 Group 1s.
What an extraordinary mare she is, and we've witnessed something very unique, and that was Winx absolutely stamping her authority over her weight for age rivals in Australia. As Greg said in the call, she scared her rivals off. She only had 2 to face today, but she really is the #1 seed, and it's all systems go now for defence of her Cox Plate crown. Winx proving...
an interesting race it was. It was an interesting race, and look, there wasn't much pace early, and everyone predicted that, but there was enough that I could just follow Brad, and he built the speed from about the 1,100 metre mark, which suited me because it allowed my mare to get into a nice rhythm. But it was still going to be a sprint home, and that's why I pulled out sort of approaching the 600, because I've got a healthier respect for my opposition here today. And you know, I thought if I let him just dictate to the, you know, inside the 600, you know, maybe I can't run him down. But she got a little uncomfortable on the corner, which Sydney horses can do here at Caulfield. And when you watch a replay closely, you'll see she swapped legs at a vital stage. But because I got so much confidence in her, I was able to just help her through that period and wait till she was balanced and bring on the Cox Plate now in 2 weeks' time. And you touch on that, how maybe...
It's very hard to explain, and it doesn't change much regardless of what race you're watching. I guess the intensity builds with a superstar horse. The expectations are there for her to win. I read Sunday papers just like everybody else, and not all Sundays are good. You've got to expect to get beaten, and that's the way I prepare myself coming into a race. So I just think it's great for racing. I'm not saying she's the be-all and end-all, but there's some good horses coming together over the next few weeks, and I think we're in for one hell of a carnival. She'll be ready to step up in 2 weeks' time.
How proud, Don? What did you think of old Bart?
No, he wasn't good enough, but ran well. Winner was just miles too good.
So what does that make you think now heading to a Cox Plate?
Oh, well, it's good prize money for placings. So
of Winx and Blackheart Bart over he or she was, even when they were hat cantering along, when they were asked to quicken, that was when he started to lose touch with them. You know, that was the example of the dominance. What are you looking at here, Dave?
Well, what I'm looking at is my horse, of course, but he ran home faster than his Rocky, so that just shows how good Winx and Blackheart Bart are.
He was entitled to it because they walked early, though.
They crawled. They crawled, but
it was kind of funny to look at early, wasn't it? I've never seen good horses go so slow.
Was there any thought to potentially change up the tactics and maybe sort of rustle a few feathers and go forward?
Well, we generally thought we couldn't beat her.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd ride him for second, and hopefully something goes wrong with her. Yeah. That was the sort of and I thought, why not have a...
Is that there's a real dividing two camps. Like you look at sort of social media and you speak to people. Some people obviously really in the camp of Winx, and that's, you can see why, given she's the best horse in the country and has proven it. But there's a real push that Hartnell could potentially beat her, and is gathering a lot of momentum. I reckon that gap in that market will get closer as we get to Moonee Valley.
It's already got real close, hasn't it? 2.25 and $3.
I could see them being joint favourites. Dave, can you believe that? Is that punters just looking for value?
No, I would say Winx will start favourite. Like, I think she's a champion, and he's high class.
Well, keep in mind, that was her 12th win in a row, 8 of them Group 1. So 8 Group 1s is better loosen up territory. 12 in a rows equals Tulloch. I mean, this is a serious horse.
The greatness of, you've trained great horses. Where does she fit into, where does she slot in? What do you see when you see her in motion? How good is she?
I see a Sunline or, she's just a dominant at the moment. And the annoying thing about it, I don't think it matters where Huey puts her. He can put her anywhere.
That's the thing. She's
well, talk us through what happened before this stuff.
Yeah, well, there was nothing really that didn't go according to script. Blackheart Bart slowed up. He quickened up, coming to about the 1,000-metre mark. Bowman always kept in touch there. He had to be in touch on the turn, and that's what he did. Look, 3-horse race, I thought it was still exciting. One backhander she gets, and she reacts to it. She's an absolute champion. He's a star in his own right, Bart, and he or she just, obviously run as well as he can. Look, she ran her last 1,000 in under 57, quickest last 600 of the day. What else do you want to do? A 1,000-metre sprint home there, so that's a good blowout for 2 weeks' time.
Courtesy...
She still rails off the... So anyone that thinks...
Punters can't be complaining about how the winners have been rolling in today. It's been a favourite day so far, so hopefully those of you out there who have had a play have built here, and that of course is the Group 1 1,000 guineas, where Global Glamour has been heavily backed during the week into $3.60, and the Sydney at the market, the Victorian official prices, and Global Glamour has been heavily backed throughout the week, and she will start the favourite. She's over
1600. Fox Plate fairly to begin towards the inside, and La Luna Rossa goes back a little bit as well, and in the early stages Legless Verve away quickly, and also going forward now is Global Glamour on the outside finding the lead, and then Whispering Brook and Sort of Light isn't far away, but they settle fully, and Global Glamour has sped to a 2-length lead over the top of the hill at the 1,200 metres. Quickly fired up, La Luna Rossa goes around the outside and nearly joins her, and Legless Verve settle down third. They're 2 lengths to Whispering Brook, Sort of Light over racing next the outside, and then 2 lengths further back at the 1,000 I Am a Star. Fox Play middle of the field on the outside ahead of Samara Dancer, and then Harlow Golden, Miss Rock, 1 Leote. 2 lengths from Paris with Love, Sebring Dream, and at the back of the field coming up the side is Smart Amelia. So they're racing past the 800 metres, and Global Glamour the leader. La Luna Rossa are linked into halfway, 2 lengths to Legless Verve. They're followed by Whispering Brook, and next the outside is Sort of Light. I Am a Star next to rail, and then Samara Dancer deep out from Harlow Gold. Fox Play in the centre, and then came Leote. Hard ridden as Miss Rock coming around the home turn. 400 metres left to go, and Global Glamour being joined by La Luna Rossa. Legless Verve poised. Whispering Brook cutting the corner with I Am a Star. Wider Samara Dancer. Fox Play's weaved her way through. She's got over heel starting to come. Global Glamour being tackled by I Am a Star on the inside. I Am a Star and Global Glamour. Fox Play's not there. Whispering Brook between the 2 leaders. It's Global Glamour, Whispering Brook and I Am a Star, but Global Glamour gives Gay 1,000 guineas. She wins it from I Am a Star, and Whispering Brook again third. Fox Play got motoring late. Don't know whether she handled the course really. They're followed by Harlow Gold, Sebring Dream making late ground. La Luna Rossa weakened out, and then came Smart Amelia, Samara Dancer, Miss Rock Never a Chance, Sort of Light, Leote from Paris with Love, and last to finish is Legless Verve.
She's a very special filly. Number 3, Global Glamour for Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott. She gave them their first Group 1 success in the Flight Stakes at Randwick last week as a training partnership. She backs up a week later, does it at Caulfield. What a ride by Karen McAvoy. $4.
She's owned by a lot of glamorous women too, so...
Consistent with Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott's horses, they can put themselves on speed, but she was tough.
Yeah, she's very tough. She's well put together, well made. She's light on her feet. She's got a good share of ability as well, so we're able to get it pretty soft, and had a travelling
to share with Adrian. He is the future of Tulloch Lodge, and they've got a very special horse.
Oh, tough.
Yeah, she's an absolute star. I think she's obviously going to be a very special filly that she's proven today. We thought that early from a very young age. We saw it on her debut. She won brilliantly by 6 lengths. We thought she was going to be one of our favourites going into the slipper. That didn't work out, but she's come back in such good order, and having such a long time off the scene, she's a little bit fresh in her first couple of races. We threw her in the deep end, and I think with those couple of starts on her belt, she really seasoned. We saw her put it all together last start, and then today we saw her take it to a new level again.
You seem so fine that before this, in the last 30 years, only 2 fillies had done the Flight 1,000 Guineas double, and now we brought it a week closer. This is some win.
And all the talk after a Flight Stakes win when we were up in Sydney last Saturday was not quite sure whether we're going to back up. She come down here, only arrived late Thursday, was able to go straight to the front, and typical Gay Waterhouse fashion was just too strong for the rest of the rivals. And at this point of the race, I thought, well, Whispering Brook and I'm a Star are going to be able to show a superior turn of foot in that last 100 metres, but she showed great determination and as a terrific training performance, and a filly who has obviously got great ability.
Gay's a regular Flight 1,000 Guineas participant. I remember Dan Glisser, Ha from memory. Great to see Gay as a force again too, because there was always a suggestion she was a bit on the wane, and great for Adrian Bott as well. So terrific stuff there. I'm a Star. It's amazing how we always say best forms in Sydney, Melbourne's crap. I'm a Star.
Yeah, okay.
But there wasn't a lot between the Melbourne and Sydney form yesterday, was there, in those 2 Guineas races?
From your fillies...
Double. Big effort for this filly to go down there and a week between runs, back up and win another Group 1.
Yeah, and a lovely ride by Karen McAvoy. He rated her beautifully, just rolls, relaxed, had a rest, and then went again. And she showed really good courage, because they come to really challenge her here, the second and third horses, and she just lifted off the canvas there and had a go. She's a really good filly. That's 2 Group 1s in a row now, within a week. So, look, she promised so much when she won her first start there at Kembla, and then she went amiss, and they were thinking she was a slipper filly, and she put the writing on the wall with the first up run when she was off the track there on the wet. It was an enormous run, and she's obviously coped with that and trained on well. I'm a Star's a little beauty. There's nothing of her. She's had a busy schedule. She's been to Sydney and back to Melbourne, and she was so brave there. That's the real Whispering Brook there. She had a bit of a hiccup. I don't know what happened last start. And Fox Play, funny run. Like she scrambled around the turn there. Maybe he just had to pull her sideways, but she did flatten out and hit the line really well. So nothing wrong with her performance as well.
As the favourite here, $3.60 there, number 2 impending, $3.60. There's also plenty of money around for the top weight Sacred Elixir there at $5. Good standing, it opened at $7.50, now into $6. Also a little bit of money around for Divine Prophet there, number 4, $7 as well with Bowman on board. And then we get out to Seaburge there at $26.
Mounting out for the Group 1 Caulfield Guineas. Good standing is number 3.
They're away. And Impending got a good jump out towards the middle outside. Evacuation away quickly, looking for the lead down towards the inner, and finds it pretty quickly for Karen McAvoy, looking for the Guineas double. Kaching right up there with Revolving Door pressing on. Saracino a little keen is now 4th on the inside, and Good Standing pressing on up the hill doing some work. In behind those, Divine Prophet getting a nice run with Wasn't Me, and next to the outside, Sacred Elixir trapped out wide. Couple of lengths further back in the field is Haydock on the outside of Barbie's Boy, and then came Seaburge Impending, had to go back to third last, 1,000 metres to go, and behind him Stacey Bon and Land of Plenty. So Evacuation is the leader, about a neck in front to Revolving Door as they came to the side of the course. Good Standing doing it tough out wide, Saracino next, and Kaching's in the middle. One further back, Sacred Elixir, who's a little bit deep, but he does have some cover down the side, followed by Wasn't Me and Divine Prophet playing for luck on the inside, one to Haydock. Barbie's Boy well back with Seaburge and Impending at the 600 metres. He's about 8 from from the lead, and then Sosibon and Land of Plenty. Around the turn, Evacuation leading narrowly from good standing going on. Sacred Elixir 4 wide, and still there just outside the leader, Revolving Door when they corner in. Haydock putting in a burst around the outside, and Impending's got onto his back. In the straight, Revolving Door, and down the outside, Haydock are racing to the lead together. Divine Prophet getting a needle-eye gap down on the inside with Saracino. There are many chances. Divine Prophet and Haydock. Divine Prophet the inside, Haydock and Seabirds. Seabirds flies home. They come to the line together. Divine Prophet just won it in a photo finish from Seabirds and Haydock. Just behind those, Impending doing his best work out late on the course, and then came Saracino, good standing not far away with Sacred Elixir. Quite a blanket finish to the Guineas this year. Then Barbie's Boy, followed behind those to finish then by Evacuation. Well back as Wasn't Me, Revolving Door weakened in, and so did Kaching and Land of Plenty, one of the last.
What a ride by Dwayne Dunn. What a training performance by Team Hawks. Divine Prophet coming through the big races in Sydney has come to Caulfield and taken the Group 1 Caulfield Guineas. He's paid
on and when to turn them off, and you know, they've just taught me so much, Johnny, and that, and I think that just showed in that race then. Just be patient, just let the horse come up underneath you, and if they're good enough they win. So just a big thrill for the team. It's been a great effort from that stage onwards, and then it was just a matter of finding a passage through in the straight, and he got the rest done.
And he's such a thing to perfection here with Divine Prophet, just as Wayne Dunn did there with the ride. He was back drawn the inside barrier. We was
some win. Is Dwayne Dunn returning here?
Three back the fence, but you know, when I don't know how many times I've said it, I must have said it 4,000 times, you've got to draw barriers. He drew barrier 1, he was, you know, 3 back the fence in not a hard run race, but he just waited for the split to come, and then it come and he did the rest. So it's a big race, this race. It's a stallion making race, and another good colt to go to stud. Great effort.
Well, yeah, the 3-year-olds have won it again, so it makes it 5 out of the last 6. The last 3 winners have come through the Stan Fox. There is Dwayne Dunn. I reckon you give barrier 1 to Dwayne Dunn. He is the man, as we saw with his Rocky, to get the job done.
And your frustration, David, that's you in the stripy cap right in the middle. You gave me that look as we walked past after the race. It was that, have a look at the replay look. Yeah. You know, you swap the barriers, you win. You have a little bit more luck in the run, you win. And at the 100-metre, mate, no surprise Greg Miles firstly
called him as the winner.
Home,
yeah. I was watching Tony McAvoy's horse, and I thought, well, we've won. And didn't see the Team Hawks horse come through on the fence. But look, my horse peaked on the day, ran a career best, and he's heading towards the good 3-year-old races the next couple of weeks.
Does he back up next Saturday into a Caulfield Classic?
I think he will, yeah. If I'm happy with him at the end of the week, he'll certainly back up, and then 2 weeks into the Derby, or maybe 3 weeks into the McKinnon.
Yeah. Did that surprise
Mark with the Hawks team? And speaking with John after the race, he said, look, we're not ruling anything in, we're not ruling anything out. If we're not sort of taking Winx or Hartnell into the equation, if we feel the horse is best suited towards going to a Cox Plate, we're happy to do that. But a lot will happen in the next couple of weeks.
$1 million to 1?
Won't run. Can't win, won't run.
I tend to agree.
Yeah. Okay. If we're in the race, and it was interesting, Robbie Lang trains a horse by the name of Sosibon. It shows how international racing is. While the race was being run, as soon as they hit the line, he was receiving phone calls from Glenn Boss, sitting somewhere in Singapore. Watch the horse in the black and red. He's last. He's trying to get off the back of Seaburge. Bossy ringing, saying, I want to ride this horse in the Derby. Vlad Jurek doing the same thing from Singapore as well. He runs a slashing race, Brent, and there was some other good. He's about to get interfered with Seabird.
He did cop a little bit of a check there, and Mark Zara escaped any suspension. The steward said there was mitigating circumstances surrounding that, with Wasn't Me sort of also rolling out. But Robbie Lang very happy with the run, obviously, of Sosibon. It heads towards the Vars and will back up into the Derby then 7 days later. A path that
beautifully made all the right moves. There was an indication early in the morning that the fence would go off at this track yesterday, but it didn't.
Oh.
There was, I think it was worse out wide where they'd had the meeting, you know, previously. But everything went according to plan there. He's a very, very good colt. He's a really good colt. John Hawkes is not scared to run him in a Cox Plate. If he's well, who knows what they're going to do with him. We'll leave that to them. Few good runs in the race, obviously. The second horse, Seabird, nearly a very, very good day for David Hayes, who had 4 winners on the day. Haydock stamped himself a good horse. I reckon I spotted the Derby winner here. in the Robbie Lang colours. If we have another look at that, he was Soisy Bon. He's a beauty. Yeah, he's a beauty. Real Derby horse, that one. And, you know, Robbie knows how to win a VRC Derby.
Oh, yes. A pretty punter-friendly day. Say that 3 times quickly. He's Rocky into $2.60. That's getting tight now, isn't it? Counter attack, $10 into $7. Bon Aurum, $8.50 has been on the drift. Royal Rapture, 13 into 9.
Going as the firm favourite here, number 4, $2.70. It opened at $4.20, now into $2.70. So punters have jumped, all punters at $15. Jacquinot Bay.
He's our Rocky. They're off. He's our Rocky, jumps well, so does Great Esteem looking for the lead. Royal Rapture and Tavachi deeper out, got away well, and Moral Victory and Thames Court just off the leading bunch, and Bon Aurum trying to slide over as just behind them. Counter attacks getting up on the rail. As they settle fully, and Great Esteem sets the tempo up to the top of the hill. Royal Rapture goes to second, and Tavachi is holding down third. Miss Rose Delago's done a little bit of wide work in the pink colours. She's got up to fourth now, followed by Thames Court. A length to He's Our Rocky around midfield on the inside. Jack and Obey going up deep from Moral Victory, and then came Bon Aurum. A length and a half to Counter Attack, and back at the end is Awesome Rock, and with him is Cosmic Cube. So to the railway side of the course they go now, and Great Esteem led by Nectar Royal Rapture. Miss Rose Delago has to do it pretty tough out 3 wide. 1.5 to Jack and Obey, who's moved up within about 2 lengths of the leaders, and then came Tavachi, followed by Thames Court, Bon Aurum. Back on the inside, He's Our Rocky. He's just in a little bit of an awkward place, about 5 off the leader now, and Dwayne hasn't got anywhere to go at the moment from Moral Victory. Counter attack back on the rail. Cosmic Cube, Awesome Rock to the end of the field. Great Esteem leading around the home turn from Royal Rapture. Now He's Our Rocky's angling up behind those 2 horses. Jack and Obey and Bon Aurum are out wider in the straight now. Royal Rapture moved to the lead. He's Our Rocky has threaded through. He's got his chance now, and wider Bon Aurum. Tavachi's in the mix as well. Great Esteem kicking on the inside, but He's Our Rocky really lifting now. He's Our Rocky finding the line. They hit it. He's Our Rocky got there right on the wire. Another one for Dwayne. Beat Great Esteem. Tavachi might grab third from Royal Rapture, and then wider was Awesome Rock. Best work later hit of Bon Aurum. Just found it a little far. Then Counter Attack, followed by Moral Victory, Jack and Obey, Miss Rose Delago, Thames Court, and Cosmic Cube.
The Group 1 Toorak Handicap goes to He's Our Rocky, heavily back favourite all through the week. $2.50 with the Victorian official price, $2.70 and $1.50. Tavachi in third, Royal Rapture in fourth. Dwayne Dunn takes a race-to-race Group 1 double, and the 4th win of the day for the Lindsay Park operation, Gator.
Yeah, big day for the Hayes team and Lindsay.
Yeah, it's been fantastic, Tommy. Sammy, I was getting sucked into a little pretty ordinary spot, and it was a little bit like Alcatraz, and I had to try and get out of there, and, you know, the tempo wasn't as hot as I expected it to be, and I thought those leaders would kick hard, and Great Esteem was still there with me at the end. But as I said to you before, Sammy, this has been his real mission. He's come through the grades beautifully, and it's just been such a great pleasure to be
day for the stable, and probably made even more enjoyable because Ben is now a part of it.
Yeah, Ben's first Group 1 winner. I think we'd had 9 runners in 9 Group 1s this season, been placed in them all, so it's really nice to finally break through. Yeah, I'm over the moon.
He's building an impressive record, He's Rocky. This looked the perfect race for him, and it was a lovely ride from Dwayne Dunn. How good is he, and what are you thinking now that he's got the Group 1?
We've sort of been avoiding temptation with him, and we just felt that we'd go through his classes, and now he's arrived at the Group 1 level, first go, and he won. And we'll probably go for the Emirates, and then hopefully he'll be too qualified to run in handicaps, and he'll be a weight for age horse. But going through the classes has been great with him, and there. And straight after we won the Group 1, he had 2 runners in a stakes race, and they Quinella'd it at the back end. So he had a reality check straight after.
He's humming here, isn't he? I mean, you even sensed the gaps would come. You must have been pretty comfortable here, back on the fence, you know, just creeping through there.
Yeah, just needing a little run here, and Dwayne was fantastic. He sliced through, and look, I just feel he's probably going to be a better horse at 2,000 metres. When he came out here, I thought he'd put them away a bit sharper than that, but probably looking for further. But we'll keep him at a mile for one more, the Longines. Perfect race for him.
Where's he at? I mean, you've been pumping him up even when his form hadn't quite warranted it. Say 6 or 8 months ago, he got beaten at Sandown one day. But
Please don't mention that.
There's been a recurring pumping up of He's Our Rocky. He's now won a string of races in a row. He's won a handicap. Is he capable of taking that nice big step into continuing that picket fence in better race?
Look, I think so. In the stable, we've been saying for a while, he's got a lot of better loosen up about him. He's playing. He just gets the job done. You wouldn't know he's in the stable. Not a flash worker, but a very competitive racehorse. I think he's won 6 of his last 7 and 5 in a row. And
finds a way to win like the old BLU, doesn't he?
He does, and Better Loosen Up came through the grades like this before he won his Emirates, and probably had inferior form to him. So
well, you took Better Loosen Up to Perth to make him as a younger horse, and maybe
it did. He won the Railway.
Is this horse bound for Perth? Would he?
No. Mark Pilkington's bought him, and he manages him. But Sam, my nephew, and he an ideal Australian Cup horse.
Yeah, can't wait.
Look, if he wins the Longines, we might have a crack at the McKinnon. That'll be his back up and into the prep.
I love the way it's set up now for Flemington.
I think it's a brave move.
Have done a great job.
I like it.
McKinnon.
He's been well placed, I must say, and he's put a string of wins together now at the end of last prep. And what is he, 3 from 3 or so this preparation? He's got a tremendous will to win and got the job done well there. Great esteem. Well, what do you say? All you got to have you just say Winx form, even though it was run 6 or 6 behind Winx.
Doesn't matter.
It's got Winx form.
That's right.
It has to run well, and that's exactly what it did. He's flying. He's going well to Varchi, and certainly a knockout in any handicap he contests. Look, Spot Autumn just probably struggled at the distance there, but all honours with the winner. He was the best horse in the race, and he proved it. And although he had barrier 1 on a few of his Group 1 wins yesterday, Dwayne Dunn, sometimes it's not easy from barrier 1, but he navigated perfect passages on midfield sort of horses.
He's been getting nice runs. He's our Rocky to win, and nice rides, and here is the winning ride.
Star Turn. Next best in the market is Fell Swoop there at $7. It opened at $5.50, now out to $7, so it certainly has eased out in the market. The top weight there, Flamberge, out to...
The punters are just rolling up their winnings. Star Turn now has been crunched from an opening price of $2.30 into $2. It certainly has been a favourite backers day today here at Caulfield 50 cents, and then we go out to double figure odds, and we're at Ocean Embers at $11.
Off in the last. Malaguera, one of the first to break it with the Monstar towards the outside. Star Turn got away well, and so did Flamberge on the inside as they go through the first couple of 100 metres. Wide out, it's the Monstar having a share of the lead, but doing it tough. Flamberge using the rail, and between them is Furnaces, and Star Turn is on the speed. He's 4th. About a length further back in a very tightly bunched field came Hucklebuck and Dothraki with Phil Swoop on the outside, and Malaguera is very wide. And they're about 3 lengths in front of Turn Me Loose and Ocean Embers, giving them a bit of a start up to the home turn, and this battle going on for the lead. It's still about 4 across. Flamberge the rail, Furnaces in the blue, Star Turn 3 out, the Monstar 4 out, Malaguera coming wider, Fell Swoop in the checkers, Sleeves is looking for a run between horses in the straight. Star Turn, the 3-year-old, accelerated quickly, kicked away for Craig Williams now from Dothraki and Fell Swoop, with Ocean Embers starting to finish off hard. Star Turn with a long lead though on Malaguera, running a good race, but Star Turn too good. Star Turn by 2 lengths, Malaguera, Fell Swoop, Ocean Embers 4th, and then Dothraki. Followed behind those to finish the Monstar, Hucklebuck, Turn Me Loose. Flamberge knocked up badly, and so too back there with him was Furnaces.
Well, he's been one of the best back runners of the week, and he has delivered in spades. Number 12, Star Turn, has taken out the final event here, the Schillaci Stakes, in devastating style for Craig Williams and Team Hawks. The Hawks family took the Caulfield Guineas earlier today, and stable $3.80. And Fell Swoop's run really well too, I thought, in third at $2 ahead of the fast closing mare Ocean Embers. 12, 7, 5, 11, but a quality 3-year-old, Gator.
Yeah, they're a good group, aren't they, these 3-year-olds? I mean, Astern, Star Turn, Extreme Choice last week. It's exactly what Australian racing between racing needs. Some new stars on the horizon. Here's one.
On the older horses and give him a good flogging. You know what I mean? I know he was short price and everything, but Malagueri's got the score on the board, being a great horse. So for 3-year-olds to take on the older horses, and actually the third horse to be fair, Fell Swoop Orange is a pretty good horse. So 3-year-olds to take on any older horse is always tough to do, and he gave him a short back and sides, which was good.
What was impressive?
Arguably, I think we saw nearly the highlight of the day. We knew this Sydney colt was good. I think a few people walked away and went, wow, I didn't realise he was that good.
Well, the writing was on the wall when Extreme Choice was able to come out and beat the Moya Stakes field in the fashion that he did. That this 3-year-old crop is obviously very, very potent, the sprinters. And Star Turn and mixed it with a Stern, who had also formed behind Extreme Choice when he would run down here in a Blue Diamond and probably wasn't at his best. But he was quite arrogant the way he was able to sit 3 wide there on the speed, and then yes, he had the weight advantage being a 3-year-old against older horses, but he's quite an imposing 3-year-old. Look at him lining up against some of those older gallopers there. He doesn't look physically smaller than them, and he was able to put them to the sword late. It sets up for a terrific race, the Coolmore Classic, the Coolmore Stud Stakes, because Flying Artie we'll see on Wednesday resume in the Blue Sapphire. Then
Flying too, they say.
You've got Capitalist, who's going to head towards the Manikato. Obviously a Stern, Russian Revolution will come down, and then you throw in Extreme Choice as well.
And Barcelona unbeaten.
It's there is some serious 3-year-olds around.
If you didn't think it was immoral, you were second-guessing yourself too much. It was so obviously a good thing, wasn't it? If we were backing in that super group of 3-year-olds with 52.5 against the, you know...
Well, Malaguera's a Group 1 winner, weight for age. Fell Swoop has been beaten by Shiitaka and a TJ Smith. That was a pretty handy lineup of horses, and he's he's absolutely smashed them.
Do you reckon it's a group of 3-year-olds this year?
Looks like it. Yeah, very, very good, especially the sprinters. Like that fellow's win was outstanding, because I thought he was over-racing a little bit in the middle stages, and at that class, when you over-race, you generally don't win, and he had a lap on them.
It was a good day for the Hawkes family. It was a good day for the Hayes.
Pest outside, you're putting pressure on you, and you're only a lightly raced 3-year-old. But wow, I think there was a little doubt, not doubt on him, but little queries on him being on a hard track yesterday, because his best form has been on the soft. But look at this horse, pin his ears back, savage the line. It's game on. There'll be some chest beating going on with these breeders and owners with this coming to this Coolmore. You reckon there might be some pumping up about these 3-year-olds? Hey?
What about stallion-making race, Ronnie?
Yes. Please. But this is game on now. Look at this horse. You know, he just whacks those ears back, and he runs and charges through the line. He's a beauty. Absolute beauty.
Malaguera and Fell Swoop were
there's something about him. Although we're talking with some, you know, the big 5 nearly in that race. What do we got?
What about that? A Stern, Extreme Choice, Star Turn, Capitalist and Russian Revolution.
Wow.
I mean, it's mouth-watering. If the Cox Plate's the best race to look forward to, this has to be second at the moment, I'd say.
Big one of the day, the Group 1 Mowat and Shandon Spring Champion Stakes. Can Yankee Rose do it? Can she take on the boys?
Stand by for a jump in the Mowat and Shandon Spring Champion Stakes, and they're off and racing. Ready, Fire Rain, revved up out of the gates from the insides, going to lead. From Veladero pushing forward, Honeywine third, and Berry goes forward on Swear, and he's landed in a very prominent position early. Prized Icon the rails. Then High Miss from Tumultuous, Yankee Rose. The filly's got 3 behind her in the early part, handed in. Yankee Rose getting a little bit closer. Then came handed in from Retaliation, and still Khartoum is last of all. Down the side of the course, Ready Fire Rain has been a 2-length leader from the outset. From the Gloaming Stakes winner Veladero, followed in third by Honeywine with the blinkers on today. Then Prized Icon, Swear the outside. Further back then to High Miss from Tumultuous. Yankee Rose still 8 lengths off the leader. Then came Retaliation from handed in, and Khartoum's last, racing to the turn. Ready Fire Rain in front by 3/4 to Veladero. Honeywine getting closer in third. Prized Icon is in a bit of a pocket from Swear Tumultuous. Yankee Rose 5 lengths off them, being popped the question. Veladero shot to the lead. Honeywine and Swear giving chase. Further back to Yankee Rose. She's trying her heart out. Swear moves up on the outside of Honeywine. Veladero. Here's Yankee Yankee Rose charging. Yankee Rose goes to Swear and Pray Icon, and Yankee Rose, the first filly to win the Spring Champion Stakes. Yankee Rose overhauled Swear and Prized Icon, who are in a photo for second. Then Honey Wine from Veladero Retaliation. Further back to High Mist. Then Tumultuous from Khartoum handed in. And Ready Fire Rain was last of all. Dean Yendel's done it.
And a filly has finally done it. A filly has won the Spring Champion Stakes, Yankee Rose. And Dean Yendel gets a big Group 1. Wow, she had to be a good horse to come from where she was in the run. And right over the top of them, Yankee Rose had it with the Group 1 winning jockey, Dean Yendel.
Forever known as Group 1 Dean now, Dean. Well done.
Fantastic, Bernie. She just gave me a lovely ride. She was actually a little bit green for a horse that's had half a dozen starts. Sort of
It was on Yankee Rose, the filly against the boys. Historically, it's not a filly's race, Brent.
Well, it's not one that they've tended to attack, because in the past, the Spring Champion Stakes was held on Epsom Day with the Flight Stakes on the same day. So the better fillies would traditionally go towards the Flight Stakes. But now that they've stretched it back a week, it gives the opportunity for those horses to run either in the Flight Stakes or the mile for the boys on the same day, and then sort of back up into this, or go from the Gloaming 2 weeks earlier. And she was too good for them on the day. She was able to sit off. There was a Group 1 winner back to her inside in Prized Icon, who has form around Divine Prophet. And the reason that Dean Yendel was able to go up and ride this horse yesterday was the potential of her going towards a Cox Plate and being able to run in that race with 47.5 kilos. There's not too many jockeys around that can get to that weight with the ease that Dean Yendel would be able to do, and the understanding is that's the path that she will progress. Whether
he is, like all those gambles he's taken, first up in a Golden Slipper, first up in a Golden Rose, up to 2,000 metres, he's nearly achieved it every time, hasn't he? I disagree with, I reckon all three of you are going to be out of kilter with me here. She's an X factor in the Cox Plate. She's a very special filly with absolutely no weight. She's a star. Really? She is a dead set star, because she's doing things that I never thought were vaguely in her scope, up to 2,000 metres.
She'd have to run sensational sectionals, and she did.
Yeah, she was terrific. She was terrific. I thought when Swear come out and he come to after a beautiful ride by Tommy Berry, and he just come with a little bit of momentum here. I thought he was going to get home here, and then Prized Icon ducked up the rail, and then all of a sudden she emerged out wide. It was a cool, calm and collected ride by Yendel. He hasn't been given too many opportunities, well, I don't think any opportunities in Sydney's, especially in Group 1s, and he really, he lifted to the moment, really. He was a terrific ride.
Beautifully timed ride,
It was.
Anyone would have thought he'd been riding up here years.
Yeah, well, he rides hundreds of winners in Melbourne every year, but a triple way and a big Group 1 on a even money favourite. You'd think at the moment it'd get to a few jockeys, but he's a bit of a hard hit.
Well, he put his hand up for the Cox Plate ride, knowing she would eventually go there, all being well, with a light one.
Aggressive too, and he gets going.
Career Group 1, and also, to add to the history, the first filly to win that race.
Incredible. I don't know how many fillies have tried, but a big achievement to be the first one in the history of the race. But look, let's be realistic. Does anyone think she can actually win a Cox Plate?
Well, we keep underestimating her, don't we? I mean, we didn't think she could win a Golden Slipper first up. I think the only race we thought she would win was the Size Produce, but even this time her Golden Rose effort was fantastic. The Flight Stakes may be a shade disappointing because she was the even money favourite or thereabouts, but I think yesterday you and I both had queries on her.
Welcome back to Spring Insiders. Let's look forward to the Caulfield Cup. We'll see 4 internationals that some of our Australian viewers may know not very much about. So let's see if we can help you out here. Scottish is the one that's being heavily promoted, a part of the Godolphin team, and maybe the reason why Hartnell is gone to the Cox Plate as a turn of foot shown here. We'll start with you, Brent, with your thoughts.
Yeah, well, this is, as you can see by the top of the screen, only over 1,800 metres, but he's a horse that Godolphin regard as Sheikh Mohammed's best stayer in Europe, and that's why they've brought him down here. That was what
that race was only 1,800 metres.
That's perfect. I like
Henry Plumtree was explaining on Thursday at the press conference, and now this is
here, and a couple of horses have bumped into each other recently, in Exis Ferric and also Sir Isaac Newton. Sir Isaac Newton really caught my eye actually at Royal Ascot. I thought he ran really well behind Highland Reel, who's run second in the Arc, if you don't mind.
Well, this race is the Juddmonte Belmont, which is almost like a Cox Plate equivalent.
That's right.
in Europe. At York, this was the race that Criterion ran in last year, and these sort of two horses have held their own at weight for age and come back to the handicap. I certainly think they're going to be very competitive, have to be very competitive in a race like this.
You're quite familiar with Exaspheric because you nearly had him.
Yeah, we tried to buy him. We were haggling on the price, and the Freedman stable jumped in and got the better of us.
You'll always get out.
Year of Caulfield for Blue Sapphire Stakes Day, and the big one is not too far away. This is the feature rate impressively last year. So we have a look at the market here. Flying Artie is the favourite, getting out to $2 now, which is looking to be a pretty good price.
Today, they're off. Flying Artie brilliantly away from barrier 4, and he's going out to have a look for the lead. Away quickly, Del Radian deep out. Also beginning quickly is Ken's Dream. As they settle down, Del Radian from the deep doing some work shows the way. Out wide on the course, he leads from Flying Artie. Ken's Dream is settling down third, 2 lengths, then to Merriest. Outside, Call Me Tess. A length and a half then further back in the field is Mr. Tickler over on the outside, and he's being followed by Darren in some traffic. Barcelona next, and Heptagon getting up on the inside after a slow start. Then Manolo Blahnik followed by Radcliffe, and Hot on Beat at the end. So Del Radian the leader, moving to second, only 3/4 away is the favourite Flying Artie, and they're a length and a half here on Ken's Dream. Off the bit coming around the turn. Then Call Me Tess, Merriest, and Darren pulled to the outside. Del Radian the leader. Flying Artie within striking range now, and they're 3 lengths on Darren running on, and Ken's Dream coming back. Flying Artie moved up on the outside now. 150 to go. He's racing a little erratically. Del Radian's trying to come back. Flying Artie, Oliver's had to pull the whip. He pulls all stops out, Flying Artie, and he's too strong. Drew away. Won it by a length, Del Radian and Darren. Manolo Blahnik getting home nicely. Might grab 4th ahead of Ken's Dream. And just behind those, Call Me Tess, followed in by Hard and Beat, and then Radcliffe Merriest. Followed behind them was Heptagon, and well back in the field is Barcelona and Mr. Tickler.
An outstanding return by a very, very good colt. Flying Artie, number 1. Mick Price, Damien Oliver taking out the Catnar Jewelers Blue Sapphire Stakes over Del Radian, who's gone around at a massive price and run so bravely on speed, with Darren looming over the last 300 metres of the race, finishing third. 1-3-6. 4th has gone the way of number 7, Gator.
Current price in from $320, $360 when this market was set, so really good cash overall, and especially today good standing in race number 5. High Lads $7, Inference is $7.50, and Rocketeers, the other one they've been backing, in from $12 into $8 just the last few
in a race when the pool's to $3, but the big go in the last few moments has been number 5 Rocketeer, $10 into $6.50. They're making a good line for the Classic. Let's take you to Group 1.
Outside was slow by about a length and a half. Good standing down towards the inside in the red colours, and Odeon began fast, and so did Waterloo Sunset. The lime colours of Rocketeer prominent, just letting those few go around him in the early stages. And Winebush improving up around the middle of the field. Throstle settles towards the end, and so is High Lad. Herbert has the lead 1,000 metres to go. He's had a pretty easy run, but now he faces the breeze. Shin has slowed them right up. It's just a track gallop at the moment. Larrikin caught wide, whipped around the outside and went to the lead. Winebush is now 3rd, Odeon's 4th, and High Lad's moved up in the pink colours 5th out wider. Just behind them, Waterloo Sunset. She's had a pretty good run, and so has Rocketeer. Then Inference, followed by Positive Carry, Beach Life taking off, and then Wimborne. Throstle back second last, coming up towards the home turn, and Kent is last. They're heading to the 500 metres, and Good Standing had the lead narrowly from Larrikin on the outside. A length and a half to Winebush, High Lad, and Beach Life coming right around the outside. She's running very deep. Then came Odeon, and Throssell's getting onto the back of those wide runners, making ground. In the straight they race, and Good Standing, the one to run down, stays close to the inside, led by 3 to Beach Life, Inference, and Throstle coming on down the outside, and then Winebush. But it's Good Standing with 150 to go, still about 3 lengths in front of Beach Life, Inference. Rocketeer getting right up on the inside, finishing well. Good Standing's getting very tired, but he'll have enough. Good Standing beat Rocketeer by 3/4, Inference 3rd, and then Beach Life. They're followed by Winebush, Odeon, Throstle, and then Kent. Behind those to finish in the race was High Lad and Wimborne, and they were followed then by the filly dropping out of it, Waterloo Sunset, and a long break then to Positive Carry second last, and Larrikin had a pretty tough one, a clear last.
Well, he just outrode them then, Blake Shin. He got to the front, he put the brakes on. It was a walk, jog and canter. On the point of the term, he said, see you later, boys. He put 4 lengths on them and he held on. Good standing, too good. Rocketeer was a very nice run. The plunge goes astray but ran well, and Inference has also performed well for third.
Very much so. Like you said, it was a really sedately run race early on. And
grabs. Blake Shin goes to the lead and just backs off the tempo on good standing. Rocketeer, terrific. Craig, you've been shuffled back. You're back last now with Kent, and considering how slow they've gone, you're probably there thinking, well, I'm wasting my time here. There's no way I can give them 10 lengths considering how slow they've gone.
Yeah, I was in awkward trouble. I was happy to follow Dwayne Dunn through the run, and then I actually came out to get on the back of Kieran Maher's other horse, and then they sprinted and left my horse, so I was able to then go back and follow Dwayne on. My horse stayed on nice, and he'd be suited by being able to be a bit closer in the run and a bigger track, but he just lacked that little bit of zip at the time that I really needed him to. But Blake Shin had a great day yesterday. He had 3 winners. That was a good confidence ride and positive on a horse that's coming from a lot stronger form than us. And Mick Price's horse always seems to run really well, which franks that Flemington form from the start before.
I'm not saying this race is pointless, but it hasn't achieved its desired outcome. 500 grand, it was up to 750. It's only been around for about 2 or 3 years. I think it's
the old Norman Robinson rebadged.
Yeah. The aim of it was to keep the Guineas horses, the classy ones, going an extra week, but it's sort of almost become one of the routes into the Derby now.
Well, that's the only Guineas horse in it who wins the race.
Yeah, I don't know whether it needs to start living up to its stake money a bit.
In one. Look, still a great race, and it could be a potential guide to the Derby. Rocketeer's the one that's jumped right to the top of betting there at $6, and Mick Price going into that race yesterday was thinking, I don't know if this horse is over the top. This might be one run too far. And I spoke to him.
How far away from the finish was this over?
It was over about 200 metres after the start when he just elected. Look, it got to the stage of the day. I'm surprised it got to this stage where these blokes, they get it in their head that the wind, and they start riding the wind and not the race. And this horse just says, oh, you're kidding, I'm going 3/4 pace here, don't worry about the wind. Had a class edge, good effort on a backup. I think they're thinking of maybe running him in the Longines.
The mile?
No,
the 2000.
The 2000.
Oh, the McKinnon.
The McKinnon.
The Emirates.
The Emirates.
Yes, the Emirates McKinnon.
The Emirates. Over 2,000,
yeah,
2 million.
I was just in a little interview with James.
I'm lost.
I think they're, thinking about that. Look, but the class angle of obviously the Caulfield Guineas form stacked up okay there. Look, the stuff.
One that I like at a bit of a price. Danish Twist has eased in the market. I thought Tycoon Tara looked the main danger. French Emotion was good last start, and I thought Shillelagh, if you look...
Adrift at $2.90 is the price after opening at $2.70. Was quite well found during the week, but Danish Twist has been a really big drifter. $4.20 gets out to $6 now, and First Seal just solid at $6.50.
Metres. And Danish Twist, restrained from the outside stall, is going to go over their heels in the early part of the race. Tycoon Tara lands narrowly in front of Pearls and Sarcheruli. Right in behind them, Den Magic getting a nice toe into the race as 4th, and First Seal's come over 5th. 1.5 behind these is Shillelagh down on the inside of Jessie Bell. The side of the course they race, and Tycoon Tara, McAvoy will just want to go as slow as he can into the teeth of the breeze here. Leads narrowly from Sarcher. 2 lengths away, Den Magic having a lovely run, and so is Pearls on the outside in the Godolphin Blue. They're 2 lengths in front of First Seal, who's racing outside of Shillelagh, and then came Jessie Bell and French Emotion. Catch a Fire second last, and Danish Twist brings up the rear in the run of the home turn. Tycoon Tara led by 3/4 to Sarcher, and Den Magic right on the back of the lead. If there's a danger here, that might be the one, although niggled at now, and Pearls has peeled out to make ground, and then First Seal. So Tycoon Tara for home, leads by about 2 lengths. Pearls quickly on the scene. Den Magic, Shillelagh got badly hampered there and knocked down. It's Tycoon Tara the leader. First Seal is looming with Pearls, and Den Magic can't quite get clear. Tycoon Tara, First Seal coming hard. She's a lot fitter today. Raced up to Tycoon Tara, grabbed her and won. First Seal got there today, beat Tycoon Tara. Pearls 3rd. Now Danish Twist gets home hard, might get 4th from Jessie Bell, and close up Den Magic down on the rails. They were followed behind those to Sarcher, Jessie Bell. Catch a Fire didn't come on, and Shillelagh after a severe check at the 200 last in.
Well, he's having a day out, Blake Shin. That is a treble. Great to see First Seal back in the winner's stall. He's had a lot of issues with John Thompson, the trainer. First run in Victoria, and it's a winning run. She was just too strong in the end. She turned it around from the last time they met in the Golden Pendant with Fitness Hutchie. A nice run.
$2.80 favourite, Tycoon Tara $4.80.
Yeah, well, there you go. And why did this get... I know it's after the event, but why did this get to $7.50? She's a class mare, and I wanted to be totally forgiving for her first up run when John Thompson, I've never seen him so confident, but it just didn't turn into a race last time, where this did. She found a nice trailing position. She launched. She's a quality mare when right, and that'll top her off beautifully for the mire. Is it still the mire?
Yes.
Yes. That's good. That's good to know. Yes. So it's going to be a really competitive mares race, the mire, and she's a quality act and performed well yesterday. Look, Tycoon Tara, she was brave again. I read that she may go to the paddock now. Pearls did what she does. She's honest. It just lacks the quality of the winner. Den Magic wants a faster run race. I know she had options for her. Shillelagh. If we can just go back...
Go back and watch this again.
I thought Purton was going to end up back in Hong Kong here when he got put through the fence again. But it was run inside
White
Den
cap,
Magic.
yellow sleeves.
And she looks like she's got something to offer, and bang. And so, obviously, a total forgive run from that filly or mare.
All right, First Seal, too good for Tycoon Tara Pearls. Let's...
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, as you mentioned, Hellbent came out of this race during the day, so that has really affected the market. It now looks like this. There's a pair of them that have been fighting for favouritism, and it is Wild Rain that has ended up with it at this stage of betting. $3.40 the price there. Our boy Malachi $3.60. Our boy Malachi $3.60. Fatanar is $5.50, and Lac and Rupee is currently at $6, but has been well supported from $9.50 earlier in the week.
Fluctuations here.
$3.
Victorian official price fluctuations here on course at Caulfield, and as we're saying, the market has changed dramatically, and that leaves Wild Rain as the favourite. Now, she's just been...
Fatanar, one of the first to jump. Lankan Rupee got away nice and evenly on the inside, and Wild Rain got out fast. Sunday Escape is the leader after 200 metres, and going with it is on the outside Fatanar, and they show the way early. These other ones were looking for a bit of cover. Take Pride settled down third, Lankan Rupee fourth, and next the outside Wild Rain. Wider was a Ruhu, a length and a half for Dora, and back towards the end of the field is Rudiger, and on the outside is our boy Malachi, 8 from the leader. That's Sunday Escape. Coming around the home turn, Fatanar sitting second, a length and a half away is Take Pride. In behind them, Lankan Rupee waiting on a run, and Wild Rain hard ridden by Baster. In the straight now and moving up Fatanar, Lankan Rupee. The gap's not quite big enough for him there. Fatanar, Lankan Rupee can't get through now. The gap's open. Is it good enough? Here's our boy Malachi starting to fly home though. He swamps them on the outside. Our boy Malachi got to the lead, and our boy Malachi from last beat Fatanar and Lankan Rupee. Close go for fourth. Aruhu's up there with Wild Rain, who was flat a long way from home, and then Rudiger and Vidora down on the rails. Dropping out next was Take Pride, and last to finish is Sunday Escape.
He is a freak, our boy Malachi. The Rockhampton Rocket, he increases his win. His winning strike rate to 26 starts, 19 wins. He's now won in Melbourne. That was a simply awesome win. The race had set up for a horse to sit back with the cover and sprint like that. We thought it might have been Hellbent, but our boy Malachi and Dwayne done a beautiful ride, beautiful win.
Yeah, it was. Dwayne's had a double now on the day.
From Racing Victoria, anyway.
So we don't want to disrespect our boy Malachi. We've seen the great victory back from last, and what an amazing horse he is, this extraordinary record. But the story out of the race, Craig, should have been your colt, because what he did at his previous start was unbelievable. You would have thought he was going to win yesterday.
Oh, he was going to be my winner for the day.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, and the others were going to be a bonus. And interesting to note that our Malachi, who's a speed horse, was ridden off the speed to negate the win factor. So it was amazing. But he would have been exactly where Hellbent would have probably been in the race, and I was really looking forward to his progression through the grades for a Group 2 race. So that was really sad. But
should be one one of the many features throughout the Flemington Carnival. It's interesting, I was having a quick chat to Craig Newitt. I said, gee, Lankan Rupee, mate. He's like, how exciting is that? Can't wait for the Darley. That's when he goes there next. However, he says, gee, I hope my 3-year-old doesn't go there too. That's extreme choice. He might have a tough decision to make.
Yeah, we may back up, or that could potentially be something they do after the Coolmore. But one horse that has jumped right up in betting for the Darley Classic is a horse that you've ridden in the past called Spieth, who was very impressive winning at Randwick yesterday. And speaking with...
Wow, who expected that?
Our boy Malachi.
Wild Rain, hard ridden by Baster. In the straight now and moving up far to no. Lankan Rupee, the gap's not quite big enough for him there. Far to no. Lankan Rupee can't get through now. The gap's open. Is it good enough? Here's our boy Malachi starting to fly home though. He swamps him on the outside. Our boy Malachi got to the lead, and our boy Malachi from last beat Fartanar and Lankan Rupee. Close go for 4.
The turmoil when Hellbent come out. Yeah. Quaddies, it came out well before the quaddies started, so you could go again. But a lot of people were anchoring Hellbent. Now, before we get to our boy Malachi, and we'll speak, he came with his withering burst down the outside. Normally we see him up the front and dashing away from them. A new string to his bow yesterday.
Yeah, well, actually first up there, I was surprised he went back a little bit there and sort of come with a big sprint at them before knocking up. So maybe that is another string to his bow. And he was lethal. He actually embarrassed those horses late. He embarrassed them.
I think that's what we thought.
What's the secret to his success?
He's a winner. You don't make excuses for a winner. We bullshit about the rest, but the end result is winners are winners and they want to win.
Yeah, and look, well done.
The world's richest 2,400 metre handicap, $3.1 million in prize money, one of Australia's most iconic races. The BMW Caulfield Cup is now just 20 minutes away.
Chance this year.
All right, Hutchie away. She has been a pronounced favourite for a number of weeks since her impressive win here in the Naturalism, and then she followed that up with a super run in the Toorakhandicap Stakes behind Hartnell. $4.20, so she is easing from $3.50 out to $4.20. Not surprising when we got such a big field. The money is coming for Real Love in the past 20.
Our marker with Jamaica on top. It's been the favourite throughout betting. $4.20 though, so slightly easy today. The money has really come for Real Love today. $6 the current price, in half a point. The early money was with Scottish. $7 is the current price there. And there's been good cash just the last few minutes with Exospheric. It has gone $15 into $11 since this market was set after the previous. The big drifter has been Sir Isaac Newton, $13 out to $17, and there's been a bit of specking for a few in at longer prices as well. So a really interesting look in Caulfield Cup, and you do...
Yeah, I had a good look at all of them, but I'm sticking with Jamaica. She paraded excellently. She's got a beautiful, extravagant head.
Jamaica's the pick of the yard from Lizzie Jelfs, and Jamaica's trainer Kira Ma joins me. She does look in magnificent order here for...
And they're ready for the BMW Caulfield Cup. They're off. And Jamaica Articus began well. Sir Isaac Newton a little slow. And out wide, here's Tally away very quickly. Go Dreaming jumped fast down towards the inside, but Tally scoots over from the outside stall, crossed and led at the post by 2 lengths. Preferment went up with him out wide on the course. Go Dreaming pulling right behind the leader, and Jamaica's on the speed with Real Love around the outside of her as they race out of the straight. Just behind these, Sir Isaac Newton, and they're followed then by moving up is Scottish around the outside, and then Sir John Hawkwood, Al Moonquith, followed by Articus, middle of the field, and then Exospheric racing on the outside of our Ivanhoe. A length and a half to Sacred Master. Well back is Von Jamask Pemberley, and a Little Engine is last of all in the Caulfield Cup, and Real Love is the leader. Out past the 1600, Real Love shows the way. A length in front of Preferment. Tally took the trail after negotiating the bottom turn, and Scottish have moved up 4th, and Jamaica gets a good run 5th for Nick Hall. At the 1400, a length and a half further back is Go Dreaming. Sir Isaac Newton next on the outside. They were being followed by Al Moonquith on the rail from Sir John Hawkwood, and Articus is strapped out 3 wide over the hill. They're followed by our Ivanhoe as they put the 1200 behind them, and then came Exospheric, Von Jamask, Sacred Master, the Little Engine, and Pemberley now last on the outside. Another change in the lead, and Scottish has run to the front, 1,000 metres to go. So Karen McAvoy has Scottish in front, 2 lengths from Real Love. 2 lengths away Preferment, outside of Tally now pulling. Next is Jamaica just wanting to get her head up, and Sir Isaac
Isaac Newton, who's been pulling, is allowed to go around the outside by Colm O'Donoghue. They're followed then by Articus trying to track him home. Behind those horses, Exospheric picking up some ground around the outside of Sir John Hawkwood. Go Dreaming is dropping out, and then Al Moonquith, followed by Our Ivanhoe, and back behind them Sacred Master. So they run to the home turn in the Cup now. Scottish in front, Sir Isaac Newton straight up to second, and Jamaica right around the outside of these two is starting to run on well now. Here's the favourite, Real Love, trying to thread through, and next came Articus. In the straight they race, and Scottish the leader. Jamaica coming out after him at the 200, and Hall sends the favourite to the lead. It's Jamaica drawing 3/4 on Scottish. Running on is Exospheric from the back, but it's Jamaica clear with 100 metres to go. She's going to romp it, and she's coming away. The favourite all too good for Nick Hall, and Jamaica won by 3 to Scottish. Exospheric ran third. Al Moonquith got home for fourth, and then Real Love. Our Ivanhoe followed by the Little Engine and Von Jamask. Back behind those to finish then Sir Isaac Newton. Telly dropped out of it, and they're followed by Sir John Hawkwood. Preferment, Go Dreaming, Articus. Well back in the field then came Pemberley. Sacred Master, one of the last home in the Caulfield Cup. The favourite has dominated.
She has indeed. She looked at weight certainty, and that's how it has turned out. And what a beautiful ride from Nick Hall. Gives him his second Caulfield Cup, the first Caulfield Cup for local trainer Kieran Maher. And isn't Nick Hall ecstatic? Hutchie, that was a textbook ride. Jamaica, too strong. Favourite backers got it right.
Cometh the hour, cometh the man, and Nicholas Hall was terrific there. He was positive out of the gates. He got a great run in the race, and he was patient.
Yeah, I've got to really thank Kieran Maher and the stable. It's a big operation.
Nick Hall wins his second BMW Caulfield Cup, an outstanding ride on Jamaica, who has broken all sorts of records. She becomes the first filly or mare in history to win a VRC. Victoria Oaks as a 3-year-old can come back and take a Caulfield Cup the following season. She also becomes the first horse to win a Naturalism Stakes and progress to win a Caulfield Cup in the same season. An outstanding ride by Nick Hall, a brilliant training performance by Kieran Maher. She started...
I suppose it puts a bit extra pressure on, but no... just a great job by the team. You know, everyone from the track riders out to a good mate of mine who helps me with the marketing and running the business, Jonathan Crisp. You know, just an all-round great job, and you know, there's nothing better than winning a Caulfield Cup.
It's been a very special journey with this mare, from a 2-year-old, and she showed such ability as a 2-year-old, through to what she did at 3, and now as a 4-year-old. It's been a wonderful ride.
Yeah, it has. She's just been an outstanding horse. Like, she won a 2-year-old race taking on the boys. You know, we took on the boys in the Derby in the autumn. She's always shown that, you know, that's not a real issue for her. And, you know, this prep, she's just gone to another level.
Take us through your emotion.
Great effort.
Is there more to come with this mare, this campaign?
I think so. You know, I think she improved every start into this race. And it's hard to say she'll improve again, but I'm happy to try out to the 2 miles now.
Of the 2016 BMW Caulfield Cup, and great scenes with Nick Hall, who's done a remarkable job to get down to the 52.5 kilos to ride Jamaica. Kieran Maher, a low...
Emotionally exhausted, physically exhausted after the win. And Matty, you were speaking about this hoodoo, so to speak, in recent weeks. Yeah. Well, there you go, it has been broken.
Well, yeah, the second Caulfield horse in 30-odd years, the first mare, the first horse ever to win the Oaks in one season and then the Caulfield Cup the next. So this is, you know, the weight that the favourite had against her. She had to jump through 50 hoops to win still, didn't she, against all those historical things. And the vision of Nick Hall, I mean, the effort he went to, and we'll talk to our guests about, you know, what...
Like you said, the emotion and the effort that he put into it, but she was just far too good for all of us yesterday.
In retrospect, it was almost predestined, wasn't it? I mean, she was the logical winner, the uber confidence of the trainer, the lack of massive vibe out of the internationals from Werribee. It was hers to lose in a way, wasn't it, BZ? And I think the positive move out of the gates just put her in the controlling spot.
Yeah, but at this point, going past the post for the first time, she looked to be sort of over-racing a touch and wasn't sort of that generous for Nick, but he got her to relax, and then Craig, once you sort of were able to loop around, and that sort of gave him something to follow. She was very arrogant at the finish. What did you make of Real Love's performance?
I was really happy with her performance. She, a perfect word is that you draw a more favourable draw, and then I have more horse to work to have at the finish. But because I've had to do early work to get across, I got cover at the right time. But when Jamaica and a couple of others come around me, they just out-sprinted me, and I just felt that I would have been better off on the second wave. But going out the straight, straight the first time, you're 5 wide. I had 2 options. You had to go forward or drag all the way back, and look, I chose that option about going forward, and that's just the way.
So right there, you're leading, you're thinking, this is not ideal, but you're starting to think, surely something will come around me. When Tally comes around, Scottish comes around you here, suddenly then, you're in a beautiful spot. Is that the way you've seen it?
Absolutely. The whole idea was I wasn't going to be that close in the run, but like I said, they're the choice I had. But for when Scottish was going to come around because we went slow, I actually got cover at the right time, because yesterday we haven't talked about it yet, but that wind was so bad along the side, it affected all the running of every race on the day. There's only one winner to face the breeze and win all day.
That was the context of the day, wasn't it? And that's why some of the races looked a little bit sit-up-ish, didn't they?
Oh, it was so awkward.
Yeah,
in fact, we will talk about that in great detail. We've seen Colm O'Donoghue. Isaac Newton was over racing, so he had to let him stride upside Scottish. And just when you looked at Sir Isaac Newton here, Craig, you would have seen, just on your outside, Jamaica, you knew then that she was travelling well.
Oh, she just had it so easily, but it wasn't until actually got into the straight and Nick asked her to extend, and well, she just extended and just kept going away from us. It was just such a dominant performance.
Great call from Greg Miles to pick up the exact moment where Jamaica was a good thing around the home turn, when he just saw how well she was travelling. Just even looking ahead, Craig, now, when you look at a mare win a race, a Caulfield Cup that impressively, it's still going to be lightly weighted in the Melbourne Cup, forgetting all the other factors about whether she can truly stay, does that look like a horse that could win a Melbourne Cup to you?
Absolutely, she's going. She looks like she'll be favourite to do the double. I guess the only she'll beat everything that she raced against, regardless of the penalty from yesterday's Caulfield Cup. The international horse is the interesting one. I still like Bondi Beach. I reckon he's had the right preparation, and probably half the field we didn't see yesterday.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's her opposition. But look, if she stays together and Karen is happy with her and she'll only derive more confidence from that, then basically she makes her own luck in running. They have to beat her. They have to beat her.
Scottish's performance was sensational, considering over-raced early, worked around the field 3 and 4 wide, and as you mentioned, into that teeth of that breeze, he was the one sort of leading the field up for the majority of it, and for him to still be battling on for second, a big effort from the Charlie Appleby team, and Godolphin coming so close in a major race.
Exospheric, fantastic running on for third.
The knock had been on Exospheric, hadn't it?
About his feet,
everything,
and the glue on.
Well, he sort of jumped up in the air, and which had me on the back foot, and then he raced really keenly through the first couple of furlongs. Had to just try and get him into the clear, and that meant working forward wide, and got into a nice rhythm outside the front 2. Then slid forward. He's done a remarkable job to hold on and run as well as he did, given the way it turned out through the first half.
I was able to get into a nice moving position coming to the turn. I was only a couple of lengths off Jamaica and thought I was a real chance. But when she kicked with the pull on the weight, she just kicked too strong. But I thought it was an excellent run, and yeah, very happy with him.
Yeah, he ran well. I just didn't begin that well and just pushed me 3/4 back on rail. But he went like a 2-miler, and if we get a wet track, he's back in business.
He ran a good race, to be fair to him. The pace over here is a lot slower than what he's used to. He's used to a strong tempo. He just needs to learn to relax and control that speed, but he's run a very good race considering he pulled so hard.
And did all the jocks overreact after the first race?
The wind was horrific along the side and side straight, which is always the same case at Caulfield.
Yep.
So this
is down the side.
Yesterday, the wind was head on along the side. So especially for the short races, that attacked you for the first half of the race. Good. And once I was back in the field because I drew wide on Ken, and a lot of horses got into so much trouble because once we got into the back, the wind pulled them up, and the sectional times would be amazing to go, wow, how slow did they go?
So what's your aim in that situation? To tuck in or just ease up to sort of work your way through the wind rather than fight your way through the wind?
Cover, is it?
Perfect scenario is to have cover. So you have a wind block, similar like the Tour de France.
Yeah.
You need wind blocks if you can help. But if you're
Cup market, before we put a full stop to this Caulfield Cup, Hartnell is the favourite to do the double, do the Cox Plate straight into the Melbourne Cup. Jamaica at $6, and then we get out to horses that are already there, and it's Team Williams, Almandon, Bondi Beach, Exospheric coming through the Caulfield Cup. Big Orange, who arrived yesterday, Heartbreak City, ditto. Scottish. The Japanese horse is the one that I want to ask you about. You know
Cup, but his day doesn't come that often.
Spring free 3/4 on Scottish. Running on is Exospheric from the back. But it's Jamaica clear with 100 metres to go. She's going to romp it in. She's coming away. The favourite all too good for Nick Hall. And Jamaica won by 3 to Scottish. Exospheric ran third. El Moonquith got home for fourth, and then Real Love.
And we've had Oaks winners like Arctic Scent and Ethereal come out of Queensland and do it, but no VRC Oaks winner. Well, what do you make of that? Might and Power won by 7.5. That's probably the easiest win since him.
Yeah, it was a dominant display, wasn't it? It was a lovely ride. We keep saying that, but it was. He drew the outside. He showed intent. He knew she only had a light weight. He tried to rest a mid-race. She got a little bit aggressive, you know, so little question marks on her settling in a Melbourne Cup, and also question marks on her pedigree, being by my boy Charlie out of a General Odeum mare. But she's an Oaks winner. She's a Caulfield Cup winner. Bring it on, I'd say. She's obviously got a chance in a Melbourne Cup, and the market will reflect that. Scottish was probably a little unlucky. You know, he missed the start with that bunny hop at the start there, and then everyone sort of was going to concede the lead to him, but they're all looking for him and he wasn't there, so he had to make that mid-race move. And I thought there was a lot of merit in his performance. Look, of the others, Exospheric, I thought was good. He might be looking for a wet track, and his stablemate, our Ivanhoe, was good. I'd say Lee would be calling to water the tracks now, just about that time of year. Both like a bit of spring out of the race from long shots. Al Moonquith and Venga Mask, who I've never heard of. I think that franks that Bart Cummings form what we thought was a weak race. So our Mandan's win looks a little bit better to my eye after assessing that race, because they were both out of the Bart Cummings and they were both not...
Time. So round the home turn, Jamaica's about to let loose.
Yeah, and no, she, like I said, she travelled well. She loomed at the right time after Scottish had done all that work there. And look, Exospheric was pretty good. He wants to hang in and not go straight, which is always a concern for me. You know, when you're talking Group 1 races, you've got to do everything right. And there's our Moonquith charging home there, and our Ivanhoe, Real Love after leading, battles on OK. But all in all, it's just a complete domination. Worth $1,000. That was $1,000 dead set, $1,000 celebration, that one. Worth every cent. Yeah, it was a beauty.
All right.
Do it again, and the scratching of Capitalist has only given punters a little bit more confidence in the grey horse into $2.30, not just because of the scratching, but more money coming for Chautauqua now. Clearly the best back runner of the night. Anything big is all on Chautauqua. Of the others, there was some early money for Fell Swoop. The late money's coming for the Buff. The Old Marvel's into $9. As you can see, the
sporting action, and the theme of the carnival this year is legendary, and this is the Manikato Stakes, and that horse, the world's highest ranked sprinter Chautauqua, just walked into the mounting yard striving for back-to-back victories in this Group 1 sprint.
Manikato field locked and ready to go. Group 1, they're set. They're off. And Chautauqua missed it by a length. He'd be happy with that to just settle back there. Fell Swoop buffering in the first two out ahead of Holler and Japanisma. Just behind them, Rebel Dane getting up 50 inside. 2 lengths further back came English. Then Under the Louvre, and they're being followed by Lucky Hustler, and Chautauqua's gone up past the quarterback. Round the 800 metres turn, and old Buffering has the rail with Fell Swoop pressuring him, and they show the way a length in front of Japanisma, caught out wide. Holler in the middle and Rebel Dane the inside. 1.5 to English, getting a nice toe into the race. Then Under the Louvre, Chautauqua trying to push away from the road. He had a little bit of a check there. Dunn switched back to the inside from Lucky Hustler, and the quarterback is last of all. So Buffering and Fell Swoop, the 2 leaders from Japanisma. Hollow, Rebel Dane the inside, and then came English. Next in the field is Chautauqua. He's about 6 to make up, and he's going to play for luck on the inside around the turn, and it's Fell Swoop from Buffering. Rebel Dane uses the rail. Japanisma and Holler are next from English. Chautauqua's under the whip. He's about 4 lengths back in the straight now. Fell Swoop out wide. Japanisma, Rebel Dane right over on the inside. Fell Swoop and Rebel Dane are coming to the line. They come to it, and Rebel Dane at last, he's won it from Fell Swoop. Flashing through, quarterback will grab third, I'd say, from Japanisma, Chautauqua, and back behind those to finish then was Under the Louvre. They were followed by Buffering, and then English, Holler towards the end with Lucky Hustler.
Complete boil over in the Manikato Stakes. It goes to Rebel Dane. Ben Mellum and Gary Portelli have shocked the sprinting world with a huge performance to win here.
Stakes, I'll get you to come on this other side. And Rebel Dame, he's up and about, plenty of confidence there. Super win.
Yeah, it was a great win, Sammy. He's deserved to win another Group 1, this horse. He's had a few goes at it, and he's ran sort of third, fourth, fifth. It's good to see him come here today and win with a bit of authority.
With us and giving us every chance to have another crack at the Manikato. We could have pulled up stumps probably early in this campaign, but we've been confident the horse has been right, and it's only a matter of getting some luck, and he'd finish in the top 5 tonight would have been probably...
I tell you what, on Friday night we had the mouth open at the end of this, because not in a million years did I envisage Rebel Dane winning the Manikato, and that's no knock on a former Group 1 winner, but I thought his very best racing was behind him, but Zed, he's just trucking here behind them, and Chautauqua was struggling.
Yeah, I think the tail of the race was the sort of lack of speed, and those up on near the front, you've got Rebel Dane who just had the cosy run on the back of buffering, fell swoop to his outside, Japona's me back to sort of travelling in that 3 wide speed. They just never really made an impression from the back, the rest of this field, and it was sort of Johnny on the spot, Rebel Dane. He doesn't mind the sting out of the track, he burst through the inside, and I think it was there to be beaten, but it was just not a horse sort of in a position that could beat him. Fell swoop, tried hard, but never looked like he was really going to get there. The quarterback was surging late, but was not comfortable before the turn.
He's come back significantly better, hasn't he?
He's nearly our best older age.
The obviously talking point was the performance of the favourite, and where to now for Chautauqua, because on his 2 runs, his preparation, he clearly hasn't come up to the standard of we know him in the past, and that's led to the Hawks team basically pulling the pin on the preparation and not even going to Flemington to see whether it'd be more effective down the straight.
He's straight out for a spell, and we must say the Hawks team so classy in defeat.
You know, Gary had sort of put the blinkers on him and back on him and put him over a couple of hurdles to sharpen him up, which can do the job with stallions. He was probably stranded on the inside part of the track here, and he was too good. Look, what can you say? A bunch finish. It looked a strong race on paper. A couple of the big guns didn't perform in Chautauqua, who goes to the paddock now. And, oh, Buff, what a story he's been. He's been retired out of this race. I thought Fell Swoop was fantastic. He travelled hard outside the lead there, and eyeballing buffering, which is not the ideal situation, and even Japanisma. We thought he was gone. Yeah. You know, he had that back problem in Sydney and went back to the drawing board, and he was terrific in this race. So, a strange race. Look, I don't want to be controversial, but I'm still thinking this race needs to be on Cox Plate Day. You know, I know they want a big race on the Friday night before, and that's another point altogether, having the meeting before your main needs to be on Cox Plate. And that's just a personal opinion. The club probably got a different opinion, and I'm sure they make a lot of money out of this meeting before the Cox Plate. But do you sacrifice your big day, well, potentially sacrifice your big day, with a meeting the night before? You know,
Moonee Valley will say it won't bring an extra person through the gates. They get the capacity crowd there on Cox Plate Day anyway.
But what about your participants, your jockeys that are going to stay up and ride in these? You know, they're going to be mentally focused for a big day as well. You train.
The horse couldn't get the cash. At this stage, you'll head towards a Darley Classic as well, which is a race that's now going to be an interesting one, because we've got those 3-year-olds running this Saturday in the Coolmore Stud Stakes, Astern, Extreme Choice and Star Turn. And I am hearing that Astern is likely to back up in the Darley, providing he comes through the run. And it might be interesting to see if 1 or 2 other 3-year-olds backs up 7 days later as well. There's the market there, boys. Extreme Choice is the favourite for the Darley Classic at this stage. The quarterback, he was huge.
Wasn't he great?
He was huge. Because
a bit of support. Yeah, I'm sticking with the class, United States, but there are some queries. He or she, Royal Rapture and Federal in a small field. You make a case for most here. 1-3.
80 cents down with Crown Bet. And as you have a look at this market, it's become very crowded towards the top. 4.24.24. He or...
They're set to go. Gates are back on their mile journey with the United States a length and a half slow, and he'll settle out the back. He or she began well, and he's on a mission for the lead under done in the early part. Ladari out wide is pressing on, and as notified, looking for the lead now. Followed by Federal, Ullman, Red Cap down. Over on the outside, trying to keep the United States bottle up close to the inside. So they're on the run down the side, heading towards the school near the 600 metres, and Ladari shows it out by about a half to Federal. Now he's managed to get out. McAvoy just must have waved a wand or something, and all of a sudden the United States is there ready to challenge on the outside of Hiyoshi. Ullman in behind them with Royal Rapture, but up around the home turn, and it's the United States now striding freely to go up and join Ladari with Federal in the middle, trying to go with the favourite. Then Hiyoshi and Ullman into the straight, though. The United States out wide on the course, the leader. Ladari staying on, and so is Federal, but the United States is well clear with 100 metres to go from Ladari. Ullman's getting home well, but the favourite is far too good. The United States by about a length. Ladari, who kept coming back, and Ullman ran third. Then came Federal. Maybe he didn't quite run that ride out. Followed by Hiyoshi, and last in Royal Rapture.
Well, he certainly had class on his side, and he's delivered in spades today. Number one, the United States. Kieran McAvoy, Robert Hickman, Team Williams. Got out to $3.60 at the jump fixed price. He's paid $3.70. Now into $3.20 and $2 there on the tote. Ladari, bold tactic.
Was for a while, but wow, what a comeback.
Yeah, everything just happened for Kieran yesterday. He rode very, very well. He looked to be in an awkward spot here and seized the opportunity when it had come up there down the back. So he rides Moonee Valley well. He's a great rider all in all, but he's certainly got his eye in at the moment. There's no doubt about that. He's focused, Kieran McAvoy. Really good to see this horse back. It's hard to bounce back at this time of year after a setback. They say it may have had a little virus, but he's obviously over that. He'll head to the last day, the weight for age race, the Emirates.
Yeah, Nick Williams was really happy as well, Duff, because he said obviously they wanted to go to the Cox Plate this preparation, but the United States had a little setback and they had to sort of rejig his program. So getting that Group 1 weight for age victory at the end of the carnival will sort of help, help heal the wounds a little bit from missing out on a Cox Plate.
Time for the Moonee Valley Cup, 15 minutes before they jump here. Let's have a look at the market with Galante well and truly on top of it. Has been well back through the course of today and during the week as well. It is in fact quite a good go. Galante number one here, $3.40 has been steady at that price.
$40 on the Victorian official price is the clear market leader here. Who Shot the Barman's getting some support. Fives to trainer Lee Friedman joins Mick.
Moonee Valley Cup. Who Shot the Barman, one of the first to jump on the outside, but immediately Bowman grabs hold of it, and Authoritarian heads up towards the lead with Gallant. White Dollar Sign is between them, settling third, and then Who Shot the Barman, Excess Knowledge. Master Zephyr down on the inside, followed then by Second Wave. Then came Grand Marshal, who's eased to be third last, in fact, and then Pentathlon. They're under the 1,200 metres turn now, and it's Gallant showing the way. A neck clear from Authoritarian. White Dollar Sign, third the inside. Second Wave, it's got over a little closer now, and he has some cover. He's fourth in an ideal place. 2 lengths clear from Who Shot the Barman, Master Zephyr, Excess Knowledge. 2 lengths to Grand Marshal, another 2 lengths Pentathlon, and 2 lengths nickeled at is the Bandit. 900 left to go, and more pours the pressure on now on Authoritarian, trying to go with Gallant, who clicks up to again go a neck in front of him. Then White Dollar Sign, Second Wave. Now he's pulled out now on Who Shot the Barman round the outside, Bowman, and he's starting to get out into the good ground and run on strongly. Excess Knowledge got his back as they sweep up the side now. It's Gallant near the inside, joined by Second Wave and Who Shot the Barman. A battle length away, Excess Knowledge putting himself in with a show. Grand Marshal off the track is running on also, and the Bandit from last starting to run on. Gallant clearly headed off as they sweep to the home turn, and Second Wave is dropping out, and it's Who Shot the Barman, Excess Knowledge and Grand Marshal. These are the three coming around the home turn, with Pentathlon starting to run on. Who Shot the Barman, the leader from Grand Marshal. Excess Knowledge just feels the pinch, and then Pentathlon. Grand Marshal on the outside, and Who Shot the Barman. They pair down to fight it out. Grand Marshal for Ben Mellon. He's got the upper hand, Grand Marshal, and at his Moonee Valley debut he wins the Cup. Who Shot the Barman second, 3 lengths Pentathlon. Excess Knowledge, White Dollar Sign, a gap the Bandit. Gallant dropped out, so did Master Zephyr. Second Wave, and last to finish Authoritarian, and they came in at long intervals.
Grand Marshal takes out the Moonee Valley Gold Cup of 2016 for Chris Waller and Ben Millam. They're a lethal combination when they combine, and they've done it on a horse that's been well backed from top luck $31 into a starting price of $19, paying $18.10 and $3.08.
It was Authoritarian pestering Gallant, so the favourite. In the end, Authoritarian gets thrashed. Gallant midfield, disappointing, and Chris Waller's team Quinella the race.
The stewards questioned both riders, Daniel Moore and Karen McAvoy, about their tactics, and Karen McAvoy said that he was happy for Authoritarian to lead and he was anticipating it to lead and trying to hand up, but he said but Galante began too brilliantly, and then he said he's the type of horse that you can't sort of drag back once he gets rolling, and he said every time he did try to slow him up, the horse wanted to go more, to continue to go on. And Daniel Moore said even behind the barriers, he said to Karen McAvoy, I'm going forward, I'm going to lead here. So he said he had every opportunity to try and come back underneath him. He said, but both horses were just in that mode where they wanted to go on, and the end result was the back markers clearly got advantage there.
I reckon Gator would call that a super forgive for Gallant. You know, if you ever you can forgive a massive wide margin defeat, it was those exact circumstances. Diggerised, rail off. You know, Sweepers coming in.
He was away from the rail. He was away from the rail. He was on that sort of down in. They were sort of racing 5 or 6 off there. Would you want to be backing that type of horse going into a Melbourne Cup?
No, no, not in a Melbourne Cup. But as far as just whether you can make excuses for the run, I say you can. Aren't they big bounding horses, these two Wellers were? They bound into the race.
They are. I mean, they just race each other all the time. These two. Normally, Barman defeats Marshall. Marshall beat Barman.
Well, Hugh Bowman said that he thought at the top of the straight he would have loved to have had another horse just to drag him another 100 metres into it. He said he was exposed just a little bit too early, and he felt that Who Shot the Barman is more effective on top of the ground, and obviously Grand Marshal is effective with the cutout, and he said that was probably the difference yesterday.
Great little Melbourne Cup duff. It was last man standing at the end.
It's only a guide to the Melbourne Cup if we get a soft 7 or more. This horse, as soon as you give him any rein on the track and anything just past 2,400 metres, he grows a leg, Grand Marshal. He's a beauty, and you can read him. You can read him. You know, he'll just plot around, and then you find a track at 2,400 metres plus with rein on it, he wins. This is so much like the Sydney Cup, isn't it? Where Who Shot the Barman was fancied. He kicked away, and Jimmy Cassidy on this thing at 40 to 1, and something comes and blows everyone away. Exactly the same thing.
It's happened the reverse way of going this time.
We're stupid. We should have worked it out. Anyway.
Is Huey using another bit of the track there?
Yeah, no, that was beautiful.
For the fields here, so Sacred Elixir has been steady around that price, $4.80 from $5.50, but $4.80 to $4.80 today via $5. Sosi Bon was well backed early on, $7 into $5.50. That remains the price, $5.50 as well for Harlow Gold. And
Spar's a Group 2 feature for the 3-year-olds, and the favourite here in a pretty interesting betting race is Sosi Bon. Equal favourites with Sacred.
Magical Hour. Oh, now Whispering Brook is going off in the gate. She sat down on her bottom for Whispering Brook. Here's the confirmation now. Away they go now. And Retaliation in the Godolphin Blue was slow to move by 2 to 3 lengths, and Sacred Elixir got away well. So did in the early stages of the race Sayonara Moser, and Morvada's showing speed on the inside. Valadiro's come over from an outside stall and gets in one off the rail, 4th. Outside Prized Icon. The stablemates together next to So Sibon ahead of Wimborne. 2.5 Retaliation. So Morvada the leader. We're going to get a good derby trial out of this. It's been a pretty solid gallop. So Morvada in front of Sayonara Moser. Valadiro to 3rd, Sosibon, Sacred Elixir nearer the inside, still look to be travelling okay as Silvera took off. Harlow Gold went as well. They're bunching up now. Prized Icon's found himself in a fairly awkward spot coming towards the bend, and it's now Morvada joined by Valadiro, 3 out, Sayonara Moser between them, still there. Sacred Elixir gradually working his way to the outside now when they corner in. Valadiro deep on the track claims Morvada. Sacred Elixir switching to the inside. He's got a bit off balance, but he's starting to come, and Sosibon on the outside, 4 across. Sacred Elixir finds a line strongly, and he's strong late. Sacred Elixir beat Morvada by a neck. Sosibon 2 lengths, and Valadiro just working out again. He's run 4th. Then came Prized Icon, and they were followed by Harlow Gold, Silvera. Behind them is Retaliation. Weakening out of it was Sayonara Moser, and back last to finish is Wimborne, and the scratching was Whispering Brook at the gates.
Oh, he's a classy colt. Number 2, Sacred Elixir, Damien Lane. And Tony Pike, the Group 1 winner as a 2-year-old, and he's back with a bang. That was a strong staying performance. Well back 5.
In either Sacred Elixir or a horse who's probably not as suited at Moonee Valley in Sosie Bond.
I think Sacred Elixir looks to be the one, and that's evident on what the performance yesterday. The blinkers come off. He was only third up in trip to 2,000 metres, and I don't think he overly looked too comfortable at Moonee Valley, but his class prevailed here. And you can just see Damien Lane in behind, just looking for runs. He's waiting for the opportunity to push the button and sort of fire through the gap. He tried to come to the outside of Hugh Bowman there. It didn't work.
He didn't want to go down to the inside,
and then
did
he sort of go, well, I've got to go back to the inside, and then he gives Mark Zahra a bit of a hip and shoulder here, back to the inside. He got a reprimand for that. But once he burst through, you could just see the climbing action on this stayer. He looks like he's going to eat up the ground. And Tony Pike is such an astute trainer. The preparation has just been geared towards the Derby the whole time. Yes, he ran well, won the Guineas Prelude first up.
That was maybe a bonus, wasn't it?
Exactly. A touch disappointing in the Guineas, but I think this is where we'll just start to get into
Look at his pedigree there. I was listening to Mick Guerin, who's New Zealand journo. He was talking about this horse a couple of weeks ago, and he said if ever it's got a pedigree to win a Derby, it's by an English Derby winner, I think out of a Nodger or a Zabeel mare. It's Herald Sun every year does which one's best bred to win the Derby. This would be 15 lengths in front on
He's
pedigree.
stoutly bred, as you would say.
Yes, and just on Sosie...
I reckon I want to take a market on every So You Think being the pick of the yard. How beautiful are the horse, the So You Think?
They run well. They're not laying it down, though, and winning lots of races, so...
Oh, gee, harsh.
I'm not being harsh, but...
A smidgen harsh.
But that's about right, isn't it, Beasley? 380. I mean, he's going to run the trip.
Well, he showed as a 2-year-old once he got out to
the run. And the other one is, we've seen the spring champion. Don't disrespect the Sydney form. Swears at $11 there, and it took a pretty good filly by the name of Yankee Rose to beat him.
Tony Pike and Damien Lane.
Yeah, I think we saw this horse in Brisbane, and we know how good he is. And he surprised us winning first up. Then the blinkers went on. He was, just jury was out on him last time. But this is the real horse. Got to 2,000 metres here. He's laid his cards on the table, and I think they're aces. I do. He's a horse that'll. He's got a stout pedigree. He relaxed better yesterday. He'll eat up Flemington as he did with Eagle Farm, and his big track horse. He's. I think we've finally found our favourite. I think he'll get longer. What is obviously is his overreaction, the last horse to win a race, but I think that's a lovely Derby trial. Sosie Bond was good, and he'll be good at Flemington as well. You could make cases for a few others there, but there was just something about that. He got held up, no momentum, brushed through. Beautiful.
What did you make?
Stickers 80, as Duff said, we've found our favourite, Sacred Elixir. Oh, right in the bottom, $11.
Yeah, I think he should be second favourite, boys, myself.
Yeah, look, it's a good race. It's a good Derby, good stuff.
Regarding Cox Plate and the tactics and what you've seen here today, Miss Cox Plates?
Well, as I said last year here on TV, you've got to ride ugly in the Cox Plate to win it. Not best rides win. I think Hartnell's got a great chance today. I think this could be set up for him. I think I'm concerned, and put the pressure on Winx. Now, I'm not saying Winx can't win. She's a superstar. Yui doesn't have to do anything. He's just got to ride a normal race, midfield, work his way out. He can even cut the corner as long as he comes out, and she can win. But I think
one WS Cox Plate between Winx and Hartnell. Let me know your thoughts.
Australian sport, the Cox Plate is not too far away, and Winx, well, she hasn't been the best go of the day. She's been the best backed horse in the history of Crown Bet. They are absolutely piling into Winx, and she is now $1.75 favourite in the Cox Plate, with Hartnell on the drift massively. Opened up at $3 when this market was set. Just moments ago was $5.50. You're now getting $5 about Hartnell. Could you believe it? $5 for Hartnell. The second
is the best back runner. She is the favourite on the Victorian official price. $1.85 was the opening quote. She's now into $1.75. No money for 17 Turnbull Stakes winners line up in a Cox Plate for 5 wins, the most recent being Makybe Diva.
Look, his first up run behind Winx was terrific. No match for her at that short trip, but his next 3 wins, nothing short of phenomenal. The aggregate margin is near 17 lengths. He's running freakish times under what seems minimal effort from his rider, and his sectional times 33.5, 22.5, 11.5 last time, thrashing the Caulfield Cup winner. A legitimate threat to the Queen.
Swallow She's simply awesome as she chases her 13th consecutive victory.
What a freak, and look, absolutely brilliant. Her all 3 wins this prep. The last time she was at this distance range, she took a turf legend, Might and Power's track record with her. An absolute star. She won't give up the throne easily.
The money is phenomenal on Winx. $80,000, $50,000, $50,000 again, $30,000, $20,000, $20,000. They just continue to pour it on Winx. About 85% of all cash now has been bet on Winx to win the race. There was a significant bet when...
They're set and they're racing. And Winx jumps well. Vadamos was slow to move. Hartnell got away quickly. Hauraki dropped in behind them. Awesome Rock and Blackheart Bart are prominent, and Blackheart Bart's running to the lead. Yankee Rose not far away as they come down to the post at a pretty leisurely gallop really for a Cox Plate, and Blackheart Bart is the leader. Hartnell's gone forward and he's up there second, followed by Awesome Rock, and Vadamos is now fourth the inside, followed by Winx. She's got over fifth outside Yankee Rose. A length and a half to Happy Clapper, 1 to Hauraki, 2 Lucia and Valentina, and 2.5 lengths away is Happy Trails. Vadamos has got through near the inside at the 1400 metres. Blackheart Bart staying about 4 away from the rail. They're sharing the front. Hartnell a length and a half away. He's third. Then Awesome Rock in fourth, placing 1 to Winx, about 6 off the leader. Pace is now gradually going up as into the back. Vadamos is really starting to up the tempo. Behind these 3 lengths to Yankee Rose, and then Lucia, Valentina and Happy Clapper together. 2 lengths to Hauraki and 2 lengths to Happy Trails. Less than 1,000 metres to go, and Zara has the French galloper. Vadamos a 5-length leader from Blackheart Bart, 2 lengths to Hartnell. Winx has moved up now, and the 2 great champions are together at the 800 metres turn, followed by Awesome Rock, and then Yankee Rose and Happy Clapper pull to the outside. Pressure on now, and Vadamos has come back to them, and striding up now on the outside Blackheart Bart, but the 2 champs go together at the 600 metres. Hartnell's hit the front, Winx is going with him, and they've turned it on. The great race is on here. It's Hartnell the leader. Winx striding up to join him from Blackheart Bart, Awesome Rock. The rest headed by Vadamos and Yankee Rose. But Winx has raced away around the home turn. She's put 2, 3 lengths on Hartnell. Awesome Rock, Vadamos battling away, and then came Yankee Rose. But it's all Winx in the straight. 4, 5 lengths in front of Hartnell. A good battle going on for the miners. But this is a blitz. It's a Winx blitz. 2 in a row, and she joins the all-time greats of the turf. Winx has won it by 6 lengths to Hartnell. Yankee Rose third. Vadamos ran fourth. They're followed by Happy Clapper, Awesome Rock. Behind them to finish then Lucia Valentina, and they're followed by Hauraki, Happy Trails, and last is Blackheart Bart.
She is one of the all-time great horses. Number 8, Winx, has taken out the Cox Plate. She's defended her title for Chris Waller and Hugh Bowman in the most devastating Cox Plate win we've seen for a very long time. She defeated Hartnell, who has tried his heart out. He went early. He tried to finish fourth, but it was Winx first, Daylight second, a class above.
I didn't think I'd ever see a better racetrack performance than Might and Power's Caulfield Cup when he absolutely smashed them and ran through the line and nearly lapped them. That's as good as you see, Shane Dye. That is phenomenal.
Yeah, she did it again today. It's just an incredible feeling watching a horse do that. A great ride by James McDonald, did what he had to do. A perfect ride by Huey Bowman, no excuse. That's why racing's so good. That's why we come to see it.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Sports fanatic, and I've grown up watching champions in all sports. To ride a horse like this and to come out onto the track prior to the race and have the crowd cheer you onto the track, I was really moved by that, and I had to regather myself when I got around to the start. But look, I've had a bit of an in and out afternoon, a bit of an in and out couple of weeks, but to be able to produce a ride that this mare's worthy of today gives me so much pride. And look, it's not me, it's the whole team at Chris Waller.
Of a skin in third, and Vadamos, the Frenchman, has done well to hang on for fourth after setting the speed. But this ovation here at Moonee Valley is extraordinary. People are just standing high in their seats. Just utter applause for an unbelievable performance. One of the greatest performances we've ever seen on a racetrack.
Well, she's been doing that to us for a while, and to get to this stage last year was something different for me. But to get back here again with the build-up, it was fantastic, and for her to win like that, it's probably pretty fitting for the horse she is.
The emotion is clearly evident on your face. How has the pressure been as the build-up to this race? And they've been talking about this race.
And turning for home, you could see she was still travelling, so that gave me a little bit of confidence. And then in the straight, it was just over like that.
I know you love race.
It's like a dream, simple as that.
What's the future hold now for Winx? What would you like to do with her?
Win a third one. This is Australia's big race, and yeah, getting to the other side of the world would be good. But she'll be back next year.
Her title in taking out the
day was amazing. It was another level doing that to superstar horses that are in form like Hartnell.
That's right. Yeah, and Hartnell would just come off 3 wins by 17 lengths. He's beaten her by 8. Yankee Rose out.
Not that I sort of wanted to see him fold, but I knew he'd take me where I needed to get to, and I mean he couldn't take me far enough. And even James said when I went by him, he said, "Oh Jesus Christ," and fair play to him. He had a nice run as well. So I just wanted to see all horses get their chance, and although the leader might have struggled a bit taking on that headwind, I think everyone else got their chance, and she's a superior racehorse, and it's just an absolute honour to be a part of it.
Would you feel the emotion?
Privileged enough to be there. We'll never ever forget what it was like when Winx was able to win her second Cox Plate.
Be just a giant exclamation mark, and then do we start posing the question, is she the greatest now? Are we getting to that stage of her career where we start to ask the ultimate question about just where she sits?
13 straight wins, which goes past Tulloch, and she's won behind Farlap in the most successive wins. I mean, she's a freak.
Yeah, that's and she goes up in prize money too to 9.29 million, which makes her 4th on the all-time Australian list. Mackay Diva holds that at 14.52, and if she goes on to a Queen Elizabeth next year and then potentially a second Cox Plate, she could be the highest earner in Australian racing history.
Third Cox.
Well, that went through your mind?
Well, we knew it was game on. I mean, whether he was going to kick on, and the French horse just before there was travelling pretty well out in front. So we were taking it in, and then when Greg Miles did the call and said that they've broken away, and then it starts to get a bit of a blur.
Well, let's relive it, and let's pump the sound up and have a listen to Greg Miles's call.
The 600 metres, Hartnell's hit the front, Winx is going with him, and they've turned it on. The great race is on here. It's Hartnell the leader, Winx striding up to join him from Blackheart, Bart, Awesome Rock, the rest headed by Vadamos and Yankee Rose, but Winx has raced away around the home turn. She's put 2-3 lengths on Hartnell, Awesome Rock, Vadamos battling away, and then came Yankee Rose, but it's all Winx in the straight, 4-5 lengths in front of Hartnell. A good battle going on for the Miners, but this is a blitz. It's a Winx blitz, 2 in a row, and she joins the all-time greats of the turf. Winx has won it by 6 lengths to Hartnell, Yankee Rose third, Vadamos.
And unfortunately, I reckon one of the things that we don't capture in racing, like some of the other sports, is turning up the sounds of the stand.
Yeah.
It doesn't come through the TV what it was like being on the track with that roar of the crowd.
And you know why the roar picked up, BZ? I reckon once she got the better of Hartnell, the attention went from great stoush to margin, because the margin, the 2 great margins of the Cox Plate are what define 2 horses. Without the margin, Dulcify wouldn't have been revered as he is. And Sunline's greatest memory is that big margin. So I think everyone's started thinking, can she stretch to beat this 7-length
Well, and
margin?
I think you only had to listen to all the talk with the bookmakers on course around the country that this was just an absolute horrific result. So that says the majority of punters that were there on course watching around were cheering her. So when she hits the front and you're 5 in front, well, of course you're going to get quite excited.
Were you cheering, Pete, or just standing in awe? What were you doing in the last 10 seconds of the race?
I started jumping up and down on the home turn, and I got a bit of a stitch halfway up the straight, but I thought I couldn't stop, so I had to keep going.
Did you peak at the 50?
Yeah, had a good run in transit. He just probably found wanting late. Coming through the corner was good, and he's probably better on top of the ground.
Thought he ran well. Didn't disgrace himself. That's probably as wet as he wants it though, but she's just a freak. Yeah, I was sort of worried from the 1200. She never really travelled, and the race was getting away from me from the half mile. So that. Wow. I don't know what to say. I was going all right too. She put me in bed pretty quick, but To be fair to my fella, he tried hard. It's definitely not his track. Winx got to him fairly quick, put him under pressure a fair way from home, and just trying to navigate my way around the last bend was a bit difficult for him, but I suppose he was brave in defeat, but Jesus, she's unreal.
Yeah, when Vladimos went through, he switched off, and I thought I was having a beautiful run, but just under pressure on the wet ground, he struggled.
Nah, look, she went awesome. Just, if anything, she got off the bridle there too far out with that hot speed. Found the right backs of obviously Winx at sort of getting to the mile down the hill there. I was able to pop out and get where I wanted to. But gee, she was still solid to the line. I was really happy with her. Just wrapped the way she went for David.
So, you know, Chris will take that on board, I think, and he never makes a decision until later in the week, or more likely Monday, when he makes sure the horse is pulled up well, it's fine.
So clearly they don't think you'll run if she's 2.25. Otherwise she'd be $1.40.
Oh, look, I can't.
That's a not run price. That's a not run price. Yeah. And he's right on the edge for Johnny Wheeler. Excess Knowledge is already, it was 24th in order of entry, and there's at least 4 or 5 ahead of it that won't be going that way. So it's into the Cup as well.
Now, and Vadamos has come back to them, and striding up now on the outside, Blackheart part, but the two champs go together at the 600 metres. Hartnell's hit the front, Winx is going with him, and they've turned it on. The great race is on here. It's Hartnell the leader, Winx striding up to join him from Blackheart part, Awesome Rock, the rest headed by Vadamos and Yankee Rose, but Winx has raced away around the home turn. She's put 2-3 lengths on Hartnell. Awesome Rock, Vadamos battling away, and then came Yankee Rose, but it's all Winx in the straight, 4-5 lengths in front of Hartnell. A good battle going on for the Miners, but this is a blitz. It's a Winx blitz, 2 in a row, and she joins the all-time greats of the turf. Winx has won it by 6 lengths to Hartnell, Yankee Rose third.
Winx demolition of the Cox Plate yesterday. The biggest winning margin ever. We thought Dulcify and Sunline were big at 7 lengths. Winx won by 8. Try and say something new about this wonderful girl.
Well, how good is she? We know she's a champion, but how far up the rung is she? Is she getting to a Kingston Town level? You'd have to wash your mouth out with soap that she's better than Sunline. Town's heels at the moment, there's no doubt about it. Her greatest asset is that she can adapt. You can put her in a slowly run mile and she'll just sprint over the top of them. Put her in a 1400, she can sprint over the top of them. Put her in a high-pressure Cox Plate, she races away from them. She copes, she can make a long run. She's got every base covered. She's an absolute champion.
Could you believe... look, she's up there with the all-time greats. The mares to have won 2 are Tranquil Star, Flight and Sunline.
Well, I can't comment on the other 2. Say that she won't run on the last day in the Weight for Age race now, the Emirates. All depends. I doubt it after... he really let her loose yesterday. Yes. It's the first time she's been let loose.
And gave her another slap too.
Yeah. What can we say about the Beaten Brigade? You know, we thought it was a solid enough field. Hartnell... a few people are saying, oh, he can't win the Cup on that now. That was a gut. They say it was a gut buster. I reckon he needed a hard run for the Melbourne Cup. But a few people are saying, oh, she'll break his heart yesterday. Keep pushing the price out, because I think he's got class on his side for a Melbourne Cup. Yankee Rose, what do you want to say about her? Terrific. A 3-year-old filly that's come from nowhere. Well, not nowhere, but all of a sudden she's emerged into a Cox Plate, you know, with only a couple of runs under her belt, this preparation, and probably goes onto the Oaks and runs a short price favourite.
Oh, she'll be... Now, what do you say when you're beaten in that fashion? Well, let's hear from Henry Plumtree from Darley, and we'll also hear from David Van Dyke, the trainer of Yankee Rose.
Look, I think he's put in a very game performance. I think he's raced probably pretty much up to his best, but he's just been beaten by an absolute champion on the day. I just said to the boys, you couldn't say we're unlucky. I think he got a bit excited at the Valley, and I don't think it's a perfect track for him, but take nothing away from the winner. we're very happy to run second to her.
Oh, look, that was amazing. To run third in that quality field, the Cox Plate, after running second in the slipper earlier this year, and for her to have won 2 Group 1s in between, she's an amazing horse and treat. And Winx just went bang and took off. I mean, she's just an out-and-out champion, and that was an amazing performance by her. And yeah,
from those races, and you're so disappointed that you're in second or third, you know, what could have been, but it's almost like when Black Caviar was racing, everyone was happy to run second or third.
Exactly. She got that aura about her.
Or 60. So, Hartnell flogs Jamaica. Jamaica flogs a Caulfield Cup field. Almanon is a horse that you keep talking about, Duff, and then you've got these imports.
Yeah, it's starting to take a little bit of shape now. I'm interested in Heartbreak City there. I'm interested in, obviously, Hartnell. I think we're going to get better odds, Hartnell, as the week unfolds.
Yeah. Keep talking.
Odds, Hartnell, as the week unfolds.
Yeah. Keep talking him down.
Get to $7, and I think it's time to move.
Miss Finland and Samantha Miss went on to win the Oaks.
Yep.
So let's have a look at what Yankee Rose's price is now. $2.10.
Whoa.
A dominant favourite.
She's deserved favourite. $2.10, you know.
She gets there, she'll run odds on.
And she went up $2.50 straight after the race, boys, as well. So there's been a bit of money with tab.com.au overnight.
It's a new pain, you know.
She gets there, she'll run odds on.
And she went up $2.50 straight after the race, boys, as well. So there's been a bit of money with tab.com.au overnight.